Open tabs, margin notes, highlighter, bleed through quotes, research mind, steady eye, patterns only she can note. I-90 fog, whispering under wheels, skyline, afterglow, two states, packed rooms, quiet minds that know, no sign needed out front. They circle to her voice, questions rise before she starts, curiosity by choice. She pivots mid-lecture, checks who's leaning in close. Say the part you skip out loud, that's where the learning goes. Heads home with the speakers up, Biggie in the background, mind still mapping theories while the city slows down. She teaches the why behind the crime, the hurt behind the face, Philly in her backbone, psychology in her grace. Don't let the hype fool you, she stands 10 stories tall. She don't just teach the lesson, she teaches you through it all. Late nights with case files open, notes in the margin glow. She's showing you your story's roots, so you can choose where to go. Yeah. Biggie quotes inside the slides, right next to coping skills. Spread love between the lines of how a nervous system feels. Long days, quiet grit, humor in the punchlines. You are more than this moment, written 10 times, old assessments in a folder, ink dust on the sleeve. She can map anxious attachment before you know you grieve. 1 foot in Jersey lecture halls, 1 on the Philly street. Home is where she learned to fight, classes where we don't repeat. Grown kids texting check-ins, pride she doesn't post. She teaches minds all day, then goes in mother's most. Case files, true crime, mind behind the scenes. She doesn't tell you what they did, she shows you what it means. Your story is not your diagnosis. You are allowed to rewrite it.
Hi everyone, welcome. You guys, really already? I didn't use my computer at all today. What can I unplug? It's unbelievable. Alright, I just unplugged some stuff, maybe that'll help. But I have nothing on. I went through my whole computer. I deleted it. I went to like my task manager. I tried to figure out what I could do. Oh, there we go, it's going off. That might have helped. Okay. Who's here? Harlot, Cuff You, Lisa's here, Billy's here. Hi, y'all. Hi, everyone. Let me know that you could hear me, of course. Let me know if I'm too loud, too quiet, too this, too that. Hi, True Crime. How's everyone doing tonight, you guys? Are we good? I just got done work. Thank God. Thank you, Harlot. Thank God, you guys, that last night I prepared for tonight's live because I did not get done work when I usually do today. I'm giving finals and I might have had to cancel. Well, I wouldn't have canceled. I just would have came on and we would have won it, but I don't like doing that. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I didn't have to do that. But yeah, while everybody's coming in, let me know, how are you today? Hi, friend. Hi, guys. Oh, awesome. I'm glad it sounds good so far, so hopefully we can keep it that way. Oh, I don't want to, like, jinx myself. So please, God in heaven, help us tonight. Okay, so I already downloaded my slides. Where'd they go? Hold on, they're right here. I have some slides ready for us. So, well, let me take them off for 1 second. Okay. So tonight we're going to go through some of the slides. It's about online fantasy, the dark side of online fantasy. We're going to talk about things like coercive control and grooming, all the things, right? So I went over it last time, although I can't assume that anybody is here from last time. So if you aren't, welcome back, you guys. Welcome everybody. Please come on in. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, all the things. I'm sure all the people here already are. But I have some things picked out for us tonight. So I have our slides. I have a few video things. We're just going to see what happens with the computer. So we're just going to pray to God. Oh no, please. I just started Word and it's going to do something weird. So let me shut. Downward. I'm going to shut down word here and bring it up on my cell phone. We're going to improvise. I just have to be 10% smarter than the fan. Right? Right. So let's see if we could do that. Let's see, you guys. So I'm giving finals right now. I can't believe it's the end of the semester. And then my daughter graduates next week, Gianna. She graduated, but she walks next week. And Ava walks in like 4 weeks. It's crazy. So crazy. So that's what I've been doing. Actually, I haven't really been doing that. That's what I need to be doing. That's funny. Okay, let me see. Where's my stuff at here? Come on. Oh no, I may have to put it up there. No, you guys. Let me see if I could try one more thing. Again, I have to be 10% smarter. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to do some slides, and then what we'll do is we'll go over to like watch something. I have things picked out. I'm probably just going to have to put it on my computer real quick because I'm going to need it to get to the slides anyway. So let's just say a prayer. Pray, pray, pray. Oh. All right, here we go. Okay, please, Jesus. Please be nice to us tonight. Okay, here we go. It's opening, you guys. And in 1 second, I'll bring that up and we'll get started. And there you go. Okay, so I have everything ready, thank God. Who we congratulating? Congratulations, tell me. I think I don't have this on all messages. There we go. Now I do, so now I'll be able to figure out whatever that was about. Oh, you graduate with your master's in mental health counseling this month? Shut up, Billy. Congrats. That's amazing. I love that. I have my master's in counseling. Awesome. So proud. Oh, Birdie. Oh, yeah. Starting it off tonight. Birdie, thank you so much. You guys, just so you know, every single dollar that I have, I am putting it towards a new computer and new equipment. I can't take it anymore. I think I'm just going to cave and get a PC. If anybody has any helpful suggestions on what to get, please feel free to share in chat or on Discord. I would love to hear your suggestions because I want to get this right. I want to do it right this next time. I don't want to, I feel like I went way too cheap. I did one of those, like, I waited for like the Amazon sale and then I got like the $1,000 laptop for like $400 and you could so tell. You could so tell. I'm going to try to move my microphone away a little bit too and see if that helps so that it's not right up on there, but let me know if you guys aren't able to hear me and we will improvise. So I'm trying here, you guys. Let's see what happens. And I can move this over more this way. Look, we're like spreading them apart. This is my like world that I'm used to, like this is how I grew up. So I'm used to like doing everything the rigged way. Yes, I want to replace it. No, Allie, you were just out. Gianna literally just came in with you. Go lay down. These aren't going to start with me already. It's not happening. I literally have been on for 2 seconds and Gianna came down here and, wait, hold on. Gianna came down here to help me. So she already let Allie out. And now Allie's trying to bark again and they literally just walked in. So we're not letting that happen. All right, here we go. I'm opening it up. Oh, fingers crossed. All right, you guys, let's see what happens. I'm just going to say a prayer that nobody's complaining right now about sound or anything. And I'm just going to play dumb to myself and just act like everything's okay. We're going to see what happens. All right, so let me pull up my PowerPoint. Oh, geez Louise, please. I'm trying to close out every little thing possible, but I don't think I have anything else open. It's good so far, Birdie. I can hear it a little bit. I'm starting to get nervous. I just try to make sure it has a good amount of memory so it isn't slow. Yes, I'm definitely doing that. And you guys, my husband, like went to Comcast and, oh look, my thing's right on my head. But my husband went to Comcast and got me a new router. So I'm hoping that my router is okay. All right, let's see. I'm gonna make that smaller so it's not right on top of my head. There we go, look at that. All right, you guys, so far so good. Hopefully we'll be all right. Thank you again, Birdie. I appreciate you so much. Actually, let me put this real quick on here, Birdie, because I should be highlighting you. There we go, you guys. Birdie says, hi, Dr. Vona, mods in chat, and let's go Kicks. Birdie, we can't be friends. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Of course we can. I'm from Philly, so I have to like just at least, you know, act like I'm tough. Okay, you guys. So, Knicks. I said, what did I say? Kicks. You guys, literally, I've been working since 8 a.m. and I didn't get a break today because I'm giving my finals and I was supposed to have like a good hour and a half break in between and I didn't. Even on my ride home, I was in a meeting. So if I say something stupid tonight, just laugh at me. We're just gonna laugh at me. It's no big deal, right? That whole time, Gianna was still outside when Ellie just cried to go out. What is wrong with these dogs? I can't even. Okay, you guys, so let's do this. Here we go. All right, so you guys know that I love doing these lives, right? So I love the community that we build. I love the conversations that we have. And I know a lot of you look forward to these as much as I look forward to them. At least I hope you do, right? So, and you guys know that these lives take up a lot of my time. Not being on live, that takes up a lot of time too, but that's like whatever. That's like the fun part where I get to interact with all you guys. But to get to this part, it's a lot of work, right? So I put in tons. I just want you guys to know that I put in tons and tons of research and prepare my notes, all the things, making my thumbnails. Sometimes Cuffy will be like, as soon as you get the thumbnail, give it to me. And I'm like, girl, it takes like forever. So, and I do, I get it to it right, like as soon as I can, but they take forever. I'm hoping that someday I could just pay somebody to do it. That's the goal, but for right now, I do everything. But anyway, so in research, reading public reports, organizing the timeline, building slides, preparing notes, making thumbnails, setting up the stream, moderating the discussion, clipping the content, and then doing it all again for the next case. I just want you guys to know how much work and preparation that creators put into this. I hope everybody enjoys these. If you don't, please let me know and we'll try to switch it up because I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to do something that you guys aren't digging either because this is a lot of work. So you guys have to help me, like, modify till we get it completely right. Hi, DDWM. Welcome. Come on in, you guys. Awesome. So, also, I want to remind people, I just put my little coffee thingy up there if anybody's interested. You guys don't have to. I know that not everybody has it. And also, I just want to remind you that it's $1.99 for our memberships. I just have to put it out there. If you want to become a member, or if you want to make a membership for someone else, I just want you to know that it's very inexpensive. And I might be one of the only people I know that is willing to Venmo you the $2 if you really want to be part of this that bad and you don't have it. So hopefully you guys, you know, see that as I want you guys to be here just as much. Okay, so let's do this. So tonight we're going to discuss the David case again and Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This case, we're going to look at it through a psychological lens. Billy, now that I know that you're getting your master's, Billy, I'm going to be picking on you, but in a good way. You'll be like my new like teacher's pet type thing. You know what I mean? So in the bestest of ways. Let's see. We have to get me on Austin's case or even, so you guys know a case I just caught up on real quick. I caught up on the The one, oh my God. The one where he's the delivery guy from Amazon, I think it was. Oh my God. I'm having like a brain fart. If you guys, Cuffy knows who I'm talking about. But I've caught up on a whole case. I like watched the entire court and everything, like in a 24-hour period. But anyway, back to, yes, Tanner Horner. That's it, Tanner Horner and Athena Strand. Horrible, horrible, right? I didn't get to see anything today though, so I think they did start back up today, so I do have to catch up there. But other than that, but okay, but Austin Drummond, someone remind me. Hey Higgins, you're in Discord. Remind me like tomorrow or something. I'll look into that. Closing arguments tomorrow. Okay. All right. I'll have to look into that. So, but for today, we're going to do the David case again. Some of you have already followed parts of this case with me, with other creators. So tonight, I want to go a little bit deeper than we normally do, right? So I want to look at what this case raises about online access, grooming, celebrity personas, secrecy, fantasy, defense, victim-centered coverage, all the things, right? So I want to be very clear from the beginning, Celeste is a child. So let's keep that as the center focus, and this, because it has to stay the center of our conversation. David Burke, also known as, not D4vd, he even says that he refers to that as David, but some people refer to him as D4vd. He's pleaded not guilty, right? Allegations are not convictions. We're not here to diagnose him. We're not here to declare legal guilt. We're here to examine publicly reported claims, alleged behavior patterns, court-reported information, and psychology concepts that help us understand why cases involve fame, fantasy, and private online access can become dangerous, okay? And even if you're not, let's say there is no celebrity access, these could still become dangerous. So, and like I was saying, we talked about this in class today. It was so weird. We just happened to be talking about like parenting and stuff in class in this chapter. It's like our last chapter. And we talk about parenting and kids and all the things. And we were talking about how there's like apps that you could just type in a password and you think it's a calculator app. Like the Chris Watts case, right? It works as a calculator app. It looks like the calculator app. But when you put in a secret code, it opens up to a whole new world of pictures with the woman that he was cheating with, right? So with that being said, we can look into our kids' social media all day long, and we should be like looking into it, especially depending on the age. But even more so than that, it has always been my opinion and experience, and this is what I did with my girls, and it worked. So, and it could just be that I have really good kids, but it could also just be that I handled it the right way. But instead of like grabbing their phone and looking through it and stuff like that, because I knew that that would only create sneakier kids, right? It's not necessarily going to create, it's not going to stop them from doing things. They're just going to be sneakier about it. So instead, I tried to give them a set of tools to use so that when, not if, but when they encounter a problem, they had a few things to say or do until they could tell me or my husband about it. Usually me, because he would freak out, let's be honest. I think someone just said hi, Travis. So hey, Travis. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Oh yeah, I do see you. Hi, Travis. Howdy. So look, we have a bunch of smart people here today, don't we? Look at that. I'm going to pick on Billy all night. Billy's getting his master's, Travis. He's graduating in a few days. There we go. Oh, that was a bad snap. Wrong hand. That's the problem. Anyway, we do need to make sure that we're giving our kids these tools. And who knows if Celeste would have had these tools and if Celeste would have felt like she had someone that she could have communicated with a little bit better. I don't know if that might have helped, but it doesn't hurt to try, right? So going forward, hopefully we can help others make better decisions. So the goal tonight is just for understanding, right? So to give grace. And the ethical center of this case, again, is Celeste. So before we go further, oh no, what just happened? All right, hold on. I just accidentally clicked out of my slides. I mean, not my slides, my notes. That was not the smartest thing in the world. One sec. They're right here. All right, here we go. Okay, so while that's coming up, so here we are looking at, there we go. I'm back in business, you guys. I got them back. Oh my gosh. Dogs, there's nobody here. Allie, nobody's here. Stop.
Alright now.
Oh my gosh, that's so annoying. Oh, it was Gianna. That's what they were hearing. I was like, what in the
I
hell?
think your daffodils are gonna come back.
Oh, good. My daffodils are going to come back, you guys. Did you hear? The daffodils. So, okay, so no, I absolutely just deleted all of the notes that I worked so hard creating. I can't believe I just did that. Let me see if I can get it back this way. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but it doesn't hurt to try. Nope, not happening. You guys, I deleted my notes. Oh no. Okay, no big deal. I'm just gonna wing it. That's what I do, and I'm good at this. I got this. We're gonna wing it, you guys. So now I need to look at my slides, so I'm gonna do something that I usually tell students not to do, and that's read from the slides. So if I read from the slides, I do apologize. I accidentally deleted my entire notes, so forgive me. So tonight's thesis, or a thesis, right, is just, you know, your theory on what happened. Your hypothesis would be like an educated guess. So here I put that tonight it's not just about celebrity scandal, it's a case about a child, alleged exploitation, power imbalance, and the dangerous gap between online persona and real world behavior. What public reporting says right now, just in case anybody's joining us for the first time ever, David Anthony Burke, also known professionally as D4vd or David, has pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors allege Celeste Rivas Hernandez was killed after threatening to expose, their illegal relationship. And that was a huge one. He was about to drop his brand new CD in like 3 days. I know, it was the day after, now that I think about it, the day after he killed her, okay? How about that? So, oh, hi, Sirius. How you doing? Come on in, you guys. Hey, Higgins, I think I said hi to you, but just in case I'm going crazy. Hi. So I just seen you a few minutes ago, but I don't know if I said hi to you in the first place. So hi. Okay, so her remains were found in a Tesla registered to Burke, according to public reporting, and because we saw it on the news, right? And the preliminary evidentiary hearing has been reported for May 26, 2026. So we need to definitely tune in for that. Next, the ground rule for the live tonight is we can discuss behavior, patterns, public evidence claims, media culture, grooming dynamics, and psychology. We cannot convict anyone on YouTube, and allegations remain allegations unless proven in a court of law. And just in case Travis is here, if he has to remind us of that, that's all. So everything's alleged, right? And we're not diagnosing anybody, we're just picking out behavior patterns. The timeline real quick, in 2022, prosecutors alleged online contact through Discord, you guys. And I don't know if anybody watches Zav Girl, but I know, and whether you do or don't, she's done a really good job on documenting the Discord stuff. Oh my gosh. So she was reading over messages from, when was it? From like the day before, the day of, the day after. She did say that I could use her stuff, so maybe we look into that, because you guys, wow, these Discord messages, if that's not 100% a perfect route to go down with this particular thing, this particular topic tonight, I don't know what else is. The Discord is like where it begins. Actually, Fortnite is where it begins, and then it goes over to Discord, but Discord is where he's able to hook these younger viewers and fans, because he does this one-on-one, just like I'm doing right now, but I'm not famous, right? So imagine if I was like famous and I was a singer and da-da-da, and I came in and I was like, what's up, Travis? What's up, Harlot? You know what I mean? And I'm calling you by name, and, you know, I know your real name even. Like, that's going to make you feel like, oh, they know I'm alive, let alone, like, you know, I mean, that's at least how I'd feel if there was, you know, if I was younger and Biggie was like doing YouTube and he was like, what's up, James? I'd be like, I'm dead. Oh my God, right? So let's be real, I'd probably do that at 47, let alone when I'm 17. So with that being said, you could see how a place like Discord, especially when we were stuck at home for years with COVID. So I mean, a lot of parents got to the point of where they were just, their kids being online was like the least of their problems. There were so many other things going on. People had family members dying, so on and so forth. Their own family, their own immediate family members, things like that. So people weren't really looking at what the kids were doing maybe as much as they should have been. But again, just like I said in the beginning, even parents that did look into what their kids were doing, kids are usually 10 steps ahead of us. So there's so many kids whose parents could have looked into every single thing they did and still got away with things because they know what their parents are going to look into and how to hide that. And that's just how it is. So on April of 2025, that's when prosecutors think that he killed her, and then they believe that well, we don't really know. Does anybody have an idea of what you think might have happened with her between the day she dies and the day that they say that he dismembers her? Because there was quite a few days there, you guys. She allegedly dies April 23rd of 2025, but they said they don't think that he dismembered her until May. What was it, May 5th? When was it? Does anybody know? I think it was May 5th. What's today? Oh, today's 4th. May the 4th be with you. That's right. I heard that all day today. My husband wanted to put his lifesaver. Did you just hear what I said? His lightsaber in the car. I was like, are you going to put like your seatbelt on it and all? He was like, I should. But then he worked late, so that just didn't happen. But I was like, I dare you. I was like, I don't believe you. I was trying to bait him. In September of 2025, the remains were discovered in the impounded Tesla. April of 2026, the arrest and charges were finally made, and he pleads not guilty. And then May 26th of 2026, which didn't happen yet, is going to be the preliminary hearing. So that's in 3 weeks. The grooming. So let's talk about grooming real quick. And then what we're going to do is we'll go over to so tomorrow's 1 year. Wow. You guys, tomorrow is 1 year since prosecutors believe that she was dismembered. So let's all please keep her, especially, I mean, I would hope, keep her in your prayers, but especially right now, because remember, like, at this time, and when they say the 5th, let's keep in mind that the 5th just means any time after midnight. So it could have been in an hour and a half. Do you know what I mean? That he starts doing this. Well, for me, I'm on the East Coast, but you guys know what I mean. So that could just be in a few hours, and it's disgusting. Cinco de Mayo? Is it? I didn't realize tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo. How about that? Thank you for telling me. So you guys, this next one is the grooming lens real quick. And this I think is important because this is the whole thing. I mean, everything I think happened here goes back to grooming. Grooming of her, and we don't know yet, but possibly grooming of the parents, you guys, right? So we need to look out for that too. I think that that's important. Kat's birthday's tomorrow. Well, happy birthday, Kat. How about that? Nice. I love to hear that. Access, you guys. We're going to look at a few things here. Access, power imbalance, secrecy, dependency, and then a threat point. So access is the first one. So online spaces can make private adult to minor contact so much easier. As an adult, you can create an avatar that's much younger than what you are. As a younger person, you can create an avatar that's much older than you are, right? The point here is that there's no distinction between the two. It's not like, you're 21 to get into a bar and you could get like a fake ID type thing. But even at that, you're probably not getting in, too young. At least most people wouldn't. So I guess what I'm saying here is that there's no rules and regulations at all with what we have right now. So as of right now, you could be a 50-year-old man or woman, whatever, and you could be presenting yourself as a 15-year-old and then talking to other girls. So I just think that it's important that we keep that in mind. It just makes it so much easier today, which is even more of a reason why we have to provide our kids with the tools that they need to fight this stuff off. There's also a power imbalance here, right? So adolescent vulnerability plus adult status, fame, and money. especially with somebody like Celeste, who, and I know what it's like to grow up, you know, in a neighborhood that doesn't have a whole lot. Somebody like David, I mean, he might not have been, you know, Michael Jackson or something, but he had a lot of money, especially to her, and especially being so young, right? You see $100 when you're 13 and it seems like $1 million. So he has money eventually that he can entice her with. We know that they found her passport, you guys, which means, think about that. I got my passport for the first time a few months ago. I've never had a passport because I've never needed one. I've never gone anywhere, unfortunately. So my husband and I just got our passport, and you have to go through so much stuff. Like, you have to get your birth certificate. There has to be, your parents' names have to be printed on them now, and not just like signature, which we had, so we had to get a new birth certificate. It was just a whole thing. From what I understand, if you're a child, you have to do even more things. Like, you have to have your parents' signature. There's a lot that goes into it. So, oh, Harlot, you've never had your passport? Well, let me just tell you, it winds up becoming very expensive, and I wish it was just, the whole thing was a headache. But anyway, do you guys know what I mean? Like, if anybody does know about passports or what you would do for a child, I'm almost positive that the parents have to, like, sign off on that. And I don't know if anybody's been to Europe. I have not, unfortunately. But from what I've been able to read, I believe that you need, like, you can't just go over there as a kid. You need, like, parental signature there too and stuff. So who signed for her if that's the case? Do you know what I mean? Like, because reportedly the word is now that she went with him to London. So, oh, both parents have to sign for a juvenile? So look at that. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's like, you know. What else do we have here? Secrecy. So hidden contact, hidden relationship, hidden consequences. Keep that in mind. As soon as secrecy becomes part of this, now you add guilt and shame onto the child, and it makes them even less likely that they're going to say something. Dependency. Attention, gifts, intensity. You are special type messaging. I told you guys last night about my friend that was groomed by the priest at our school, that we literally, like, I thought this priest was like everything. He was supposed to marry me and my husband, and 2 weeks before we got married, he got arrested by the FBI for not even for what he did to my friend. The statute of limitations were over for that. But he did get arrested for embezzling $1 million into our high school, or out of our high school rather. And we didn't come from, you know, a place where you really should be embezzling $1, let alone $1 million. So here, what he did was, like I told you guys yesterday, he would do things like, you know, see all the things that my friend was, you know, expose them to gambling, drugs, substances, things of that nature. And then once he gets addicted to these things, or he starts betting and he doesn't have the money to pay for the bet, he then has to go to the priest to ask him for money. And the priest, we now know, had the money because he was embezzling money from our high school. So he was giving him gifts, he was giving him intensity, he was giving him attention and that special messaging, but he was also bailing him out of troubles, which made it more secrecy, because it was like, you know, if you don't do what I do, like, if people find out about this, so now it's not only if people find out about this, but it's like they're going to find out that you're gambling too, or that you're doing drugs too, or drinking. So there's just so much that goes into this. So, and remember that the grooming process happens very slowly. It's not just something where, you know, you offer somebody something tomorrow and now you're grooming them. It's not like that. It starts out really slow. Most of the time, it starts out where it's proper, right? So the person is on their best behavior and make sure that they don't do anything inappropriate. It's not until they start building your trust and gaining your trust that they start to see what they could get away with there, right? So they might do little things. And remember, over time, the more things that occur, the more you are exposed to it, the more you're exposed to it, the more desensitized you are to it, and then the more desensitized to it, the quicker you are willing to move the goalpost. And that's a real problem, because then things that you've seen as abnormal behavior at one point now become normalized, and that's an issue. So there's the threat point, so exposure allegedly becomes the danger zone. So this is a big thing. So let me just see. So the next one, we're going to jump over. The problem is all of my notes just got deleted. So all of my links that I had in my notes also got deleted. So we're going to look at, I know that she said, hold on, Discord. I want to look into the Discord a little bit, and hopefully Zav Girl will be cool with us looking at her Discord. She said before that we could use something, and I never wound up using it. So hopefully, Zabra, if you see this, you'll forgive me, because I think you do phenomenal work, and this stuff should be shared with other people, right? So let me go to, I'm just finding exactly, instead of going to the live stream, which we can too, but some of them are a little bit long, I'm going to go to a video, because what she does on the live stream is plays a few of the videos where she got the Discord stuff, you guys, and that is so important, because you're gonna see that, I mean, and again, he grooms her in a way that even if you've never been exposed to grooming before, it's hard not to notice it. So let me just pick one of these. There's so many. She's done so many videos, you guys. Zav Girl, hopefully somebody can put her channel in the comment section. I'm going to bring you guys over here. We have identifying the house from the pics. Wait, where's Discord? Hold on. I'm going to get to Discord. Disturbing videos plus girls. Maybe we do this one. Again, you guys, I had all of this done, and the thing is, I've watched so much of, oh, got it, found it. Sorry, found it. All right, let me shut up, I found it. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing this, and I'm going to share this. Share. And then this is it. I just saw it, it's right here. Oh, Discord. So David has a very disturbing chat in his Discord. You guys, that's the understatement of the year. I swear, wait till you see it. It's like what? Even over here, David's leak contact list holds clues. David's ghostwriter. Oh, I didn't even know. Oh, was Asia David's ghostwriter? Shut up. I didn't see that one. What? Imagine that, you guys. Oh well, but look at all these videos she's done. She's done a million of them. I don't want to lose this one, so we're just going to click on this real quick. And this is, again, his Discord.
Okay, so welcome back to my second.
So you guys know, I don't know why I remember this. Oh, this is that Tanner guy over here on the corner. Anyway, my ADHD medicine is way worn off, you guys, so I do apologize. Over here, what I notice right off the bat is, does anybody to the right? Ooh, I accidentally just muted myself. Does anybody recognize this picture here? This is, if I'm not wrong, the day after he took her life, right? It's allegedly. So let's see. All right, so let's watch a minute or so of this, and then we'll talk about it. And again, this is Zav Girl. Everybody go like and subscribe. I'm gonna like. I'm already subscribed. I can't believe that wasn't already liked. I feel like it has to have been. All right, so here you go, guys. She's done a really hard job. I'm gonna mute my mic when I turn this on so that we don't get an echo. I don't want to mess up the audio. But if for some reason me turning this or putting it on mute stops you guys from hearing it, someone please just let me know and I will fix it. All right, here goes nothing.
Video in this series, we're going to be talking about the conversation where David talks about gore and desensitizing himself and all this disturbing stuff, okay? So we're going to pick up on February 19th, 2023 at 9:56 p.m. David said, I used to be addicted to watching gore vids. And Vanny says, death scares the hell out of me. It's such a strange concept. And Andre says, live leak. Log says, Andre, don't start with that type shit. Yes sends an attachment that Carl says, real to. David said, I used to be addicted to watching gore vids. Kate says, really? David says, live leak was bookmarked, LMAO. And David said, I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes, and a lot of death. And
you guys, sorry to already interrupt. I said we will watch a minute or two of it before I interrupt. Hopefully you guys heard that. Let me know if you didn't. He says, so again, this is February of 2023. So this is 1 year before he allegedly takes her life. He is very engaged in this chat, and this is where he first starts telling people about the gore. Now remember, he already was talking to these people, so these people aren't brand new to him. This is 2023, so he's already gone through COVID, all the things. So now by 2023, you're going to see, just by the way that they talk to each other here, that they like know of each other. At least, you know, they know of each other enough to know what's going on in each other's life. Were you guys able to hear Zav Girl for a second? Because if you were, then I did the right thing by muting my mic. If not, I want to make sure that I keep it on. If you did not hear the video, then I should not turn my mic off. If you did hear the video, then I should turn my mic off. So if somebody could let me know, that would be great. In the meantime, I'll just keep going. So, and look guys, the fan, I'm like, oh, I don't want to jinx us, but we're good right now. So this, you don't think you heard Zav, so let me keep it on then. Okay, thank you. You would have heard her, I think. So then let me just rewind it a tiny bit, because you should have heard her. This is literally the first time David talks about gore. Oh, you did hear. So you did hear Zav. So I have one person that said that you did, and one person that said that you didn't. Oh, you heard it. Okay, good. So then that means that you did hear it. Harlot, maybe it just, maybe you just didn't realize that I had her on. You could have thought that it was me still talking. So I just rewound it by a few seconds so that if you didn't hear it, Harlot, you won't miss anything. You're going to hear it now. And awesome. So that means I'm supposed to shut that off. So let's go. Let's rock, you guys. Let's do it.
it's such a strange concept. And Andre says, live leak. Log says, Andre, don't start with that type shit. Yes sends an attachment that Carl says real to. David said, I used to be addicted to watching gore vids. Kate says, really? David says, live leak was bookmarked, LMAO. And David said, I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes, and a lot of death. And that swirl sign says, you're so effing real for that. David says, I love gore. And he says, I use it to desensitize myself. And Davey says, not gonna lie, some gore videos are funny. And Andre said, when's the first time you watched gore, David? And David said, I saw a cartel execution on Reddit when I was 14.
I want to stop it right there, you guys, because I think that this part's important. So this is where David first, and good for Zev for being able to catch this. This is where David starts talking about gore and death. If you guys take note, he says things like, I used to be addicted to watching gore videos. Okay. So he clearly feels secure enough in this chat to share this. Somebody then chimes in, and instead of being like, you know, ew, what? Or like, that's weird. No, the person says, that scares the hell out of me. It's such a strange concept. And then someone says, Andre, don't start with this shit or whatever. We read all that. But then David jumps back in and says, live leak was bookmarked. And then he also says, I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes, and a lot of death. And what do we get? The very next person is somebody that has anime as their default picture. So he obviously is going to be into that, right? And they wrote, you're so effing real for that. And then David writes, I love gore. So it was like, in my opinion, it felt like, and if you notice, he literally, it's not even 1 minute later. It was at 9:56 that somebody said, you're so real for that. He writes it at 9:56. She responds at 9:56. He responds again at 9:56. So all within one. Oh, and there's one even before that at 9:50. There's one before that too. You guys look. Oh, wow. This whole thread is all 9:56. So that's how quickly they're all talking. Oh, wow. So somebody asks him when the first time it was that he watched it, and he said he saw a cartel execution on Reddit when he was 14. That right there is traumatizing, I'm assuming, right? The problem is that most kids would run to their parents crying or confused or in distress. And for him, it was like, wow, like what else is there out there?
David. David said, I saw a cartel execution on Reddit when I was 14. And he said, got to the point where I don't even cringe when I see it no more. I remember laughing at one point. It got bad, man. And Andre sent a sticker.
Sorry, there's no way I can have like that be said and not stop it again. So got to the point where I don't even cringe when I see it no more. What? Think about that, you guys. We're talking about like cutting of the throat type stuff. Like we're talking about gore. And then he says, I remember laughing at one point. It got bad, man. Laughing at a cartel execution? Like, what is wrong with people? So let's keep going, you guys.
Of David, in response to David saying that he laughed at one point, Hag said, me too. And Honey Bee's Nuts says, I'm a bean myself, just saying. And Log says, Latina? Question mark. In response to David saying that he laughed at one point, it got bad. Kate said, no, because the derealization after watching it is crazy. In response to David saying, got to the point where I don't even cringe when I see it no more. That swirly sign says, me too, bro. I watch people SH on Twitter and it don't even affect me. David.
Sorry, I can't not stop this after hearing that. So here, you guys, he says, I remember laughing at one point, it got so bad. And then the next person says, me too, which now makes him feel validated, right? And then, that's so gross. And then the guy, Kate or whatever, talks about derealization. Do you guys remember when we talked about this last and we talked about dissociative identity disorder? And I said, and I think somebody in chat said that we all dissociate a little bit like on a normal level. And I said, absolutely. We call that desensitization or derealization. That's what this kid Kate is saying here, that they feel derealization, which is where it almost feels like you're living in a movie or like you're living in, that things don't feel real around you. Wow, you guys, this is so concerning to me, and I'm dying to know how old all these people are here.
People SH on Twitter and it don't even affect me. David says, in response to David saying gore, 1A says that's worse. David said, porn is garbage, though. And Viper writes, deletes Pornhub account. And in response to David saying gore porn, Log says, both mess with your brain. Giovanni says, bro jerks off to people getting beheaded. Hag said, this kind of crazy. David says, my queen. And, okay, we jumped up, and I'm not sure why I skipped that, but I must have done it for some reason. Maybe there really wasn't much that they were saying or something, but it ended at 10 p.m. and then I skipped to 10:04 p.m. where he says, my queen. Sorry, now I don't know what reference it is. I think he's talking about Ice Spice. Yeah, he's talking about Ice Spice because he's like obsessed with Ice Spice. Okay, so he calls Ice Spice my queen, and period says, David, my king. Viper says, oh God. David said, marry me, please. Period says, you marry me now. But I'm pretty sure he's saying, marry me, please, to Ice Spice, not to period. A says, whoa. In response to him saying Ice Spice, Dre says, check, and gives some kind of hashtag. Period said, let's collab. A said, he's a minor, referring to David. David says, call me a munch. Playa Z Circle says, hi. Andre says, no. David said, please. Davey says, I want David and Ice Spice. Rat says, oh no, the greens are gonna arrive. Period said, you a munch. Playa Z Circle says, hi, David. What's A says, David. Viper says, David, stop being a hoe. Period says, you thought I was feeling you? Playa says, going on. David said, yes. Period says, I am feeling you. A says, you're a minor. David said, degrade me. And Davey says, David, how you feeling? Period said,
oh my God, you guys, somebody said you're a minor. So it's not like this was a big secret within Discord.
love your Houston tour. Viper said, what the hell? A said she's 21. David said, oh, wait, I am a minor? Because he's not 18 yet. Playa Circle says LMAO. Davey says, yeah. Andre says, bro down bad. David says,
That's so interesting, you guys. So like Zav said, he's not quite legal yet. So his birthday is March 28th. I literally have the best memory ever. I'm not positive it's March 28th, but I'm positive it's March 28th, if that makes sense. So this is the month before his 18th birthday, I believe. So did you guys love how he just jumped on that and reminded us that he was a minor still? Like, gag me.
Says no. A says yes. In response to David saying he's a minor, deleted user says Fortnite when? Period says LMAO. Play a circle says the realization, bro. LMAO. And Davey says it don't count. A says I've been telling you. And then deleted user posts this screenshot of somebody saying nice balls. Mind if I take them? Mind if I take them? Picture of Ice Spice. David says please do. In response to deleted user taking his balls, I guess. Okay. Deleted user says bet. And in response to David saying he's a minor, Viper says the age of consent in the state of Ohio is 16. Come on down. Rat says David's on something right now. Period says Ice Spice and David soon. A says David, we need more music, Papa. And Viking posts the screenshot where David says degrade me. In response to Ice Spice and David soon, David said maybe. Deleted user says LOL. Play a circle says David, can't wait to see you in Toronto. So Viking sends some kind of attachment. I forgot to screenshot it. Sorry. But Hag does question marks. Kanji says, what in the hell? Period. Does some smiley faces with a wink. Davey posts this screenshot.
You guys, look at the screenshot. It says masturbation effect, and it's a picture of a Tommy on the front.
Which says, David, is this you? It's David with like motion. Is that him moving around? That effect says masturbation effect. In response to Play a Z Circle saying, can't wait to see you in Toronto, David says E. Play a Circle says, I don't even know what that symbol means. In response to Davey saying, David, is
it's a heart
with that attachment, the masturbation effect, A says, what? Deleted user posts a screenshot where David responds to secretly Oreo asking David tits or ass, and David says, both, I need both. In response to this masturbation effect post picture of him, David said, this goes so hard. And in response to David saying that he needs both tits and ass, A says same to that. Viper posts a screenshot of David singing. It says, why do you look so constipated, Mr. Burke? Play a Z Circle says, I hope your crowd isn't boring, David, because I'm going to be screaming so hard. Sorry, I know that this kind of got off topic on the gore, but it's hard to decide when to cut the conversation off, you know, as far as reading it. So, okay, so now we're going to jump ahead, though. So we're going to jump ahead to 2:20 at 12:48 a.m.
So guys, pay attention here because he's going to tell us about homeschooling here. So let's listen up here.
We were just at 2/19, February 19th at 10 p.m. So it's basically still the same night, but it's, you know, after midnight. So 12:48 a.m. David said, make him cook out there. And sorry, it's going to be jumping in mid-conversation because I'm trying to break it up into topics. So like I said, it's hard to know when to stop and when to start each thread to present them to you. Okay, so he says, make him cook out there. Zerks, because we know Zerks is KZ Walla or whatever. So I'm just going to call him Zerks for now on because it's easier to say. Zerk says, let him cook. Somebody says, wait, David, you're a senior, right? David.
You guys, this Zerk person, KZWLA, pay attention because this person is very relevant and stays relevant past Celeste murder. So when you see this KZWLA Zerk, keep in mind that this person stays relevant the whole time.
He says, I graduated early because homeschool and stuff. Then he says, my birthday is next month. I ain't even gonna celebrate it though. And Kanji says, we will. Andre says, let's celebrate it here, dog. I'm sorry, aka Carp, says, we will celebrate for you. Zerk says, what do you mean you don't celebrate? David says, I'm a borderline nihilist. I reject all traditions, which goes against his supposed Christian persona. So he's a freaking fake. You can't be a nihilist and also be a Christian. I'm sorry.
Okay, so David, I think it's important to note that David here says, my birthday's next month. I told you guys it was in March. I'm just kidding. But then, why don't you celebrate, says Zirk. And he says, I'm a borderline nihilist. I reject all traditions. Like, what? Do you guys take note, right? The tradition he's rejecting here is his birthday. Why? Because he's about to be 18. What happens when you're 18? You become an adult. So how convenient is it, right? I just caught this as we were reading this. How convenient is it that he says that he rejects all traditions the month before his 18th birthday? And what is up to Linnell and everybody else who came in, Andrea, and there was a few other people. So come on in, you guys. Welcome, and let's keep going.
I know there's different categories in nihilism, but it's still, they contradict each other, in my opinion. So yeah, he says, I'm a borderline nihilist. I reject all traditions. Zirk says, Log says, what's your favorite movie? David says, Interstellar and American Psycho. Zirk says, David hits Ice Spice emote on stage.
Of course it is.
Porta V downloads an attachment.
I can't. I have to stop it. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be me if I didn't. You guys, his favorite movie is American Psycho? Like, what? Can we say Brian Koberger? Speaking of, where's Truth? Somebody needs to let Truth know we're live. All right, hold on. Let's keep going.
It's right here that is of David. Not a very good picture of him. And David says, every night I still wonder how this pic was taken. Giovanni says, what about this one? This must be period or... Somebody says, do you have any other hobbies besides stream and music? I think that's that period, right? That person that's just a period or something. Discord's weird. Anyway, David said, poetry, and I'm writing a couple books and movies now. I bet you are, David. I bet you are. Sid says, me and baby girl is Patrick. I'm on the right. In response to David saying poetry, and I'm writing a couple books and movies now, Zirk says, show us some stuff. Giovanni says, like, bro, David, when did you get this cut? And post this picture right here. And David says, like December 2021. In response to him writing poetry and books and movies, period says, oh shit, poetry? Literature is beautiful as hell, bro. I could genuinely talk about how astonishing words are and how meaningful they hit. David says, yes. I'm sorry, aka Carp says, David, are you going to Rolling Loud?
The fact that David writes that he's writing a couple books and movies right now and poetry and stuff is just, and he made sure that he told us in this, in the page before that he graduated early because he was homeschooled. So that was important to him for people to know that he graduated early. So, and I think that this is a recurring theme that I notice. And we see this with other offenders, right? With Brian Koberger. We were just saying it here with their favorite movie. And that was to you, Cuffy, when I said you're not a sadist, that not that I don't know of. So you said that it's also one of your favorite movies, and the difference would be between you and them two is that, at least that I don't know, you're not a sadist. So that would be the difference there. So I think it's okay that people watch scary movies, right? I think it's okay that people watch psychological thrillers, all the things. It's when those things start to feed your fantasy, and then fantasy and reality gets blurred, and that's when it becomes a problem, right? Hey, a wise woman came at the right time. We're listening to David's Discord.
And David said, I think so. Honeybee's Nut says, a poetry book with QR codes of beats to listen to while reading the poem. David said, yes. So I had to check out what the heck's Rolling Loud, because it just sounds weird in that sentence. Are you going to Rolling Loud? So I was like, it's got to be a festival. It is a festival. It's actually the one in Australia. So I think, is that the one he played at? Because I know he did a festival in Australia. But this would.
So A. Higgins asks, when kids are homeschooled, do they have to pass a mandatory testing like kids do when they go to actual school, or do they just go to whatever standards are of that homeschool agenda? So A. Higgins, they have to pass state testing like everyone else. And I don't think people realize now this is the thing, they do have homeschooling now that's a little bit different, where like they have one-on-ones where, you get like a teacher that is assigned to you type thing. So the teacher helps you. But before that, like more, in the past, your parent had to do it. So like, that's why I feel like more kids would have been homeschooled if the parents, were more, if they were more willing to give up all that time to homeschooling too. It's a lot of work. So I think that we hear schooling and we just think like, oh, they're doing whatever. But he would have had to pass the same testing, same state testing as anyone else. So when he tells us that he graduated early, he really did pass testing that allowed him to graduate. So there's that, right? But let's keep going.
Be what, 2023? So I don't know if he played in, let me see if he played in 2023. But yeah, it says festival in Australia. Oh no, I guess there's more. You got Miami, Australia, India. Okay, so I guess they do it in Miami too. Let's see here. Miami, yeah. So that might be in 2023. It might be Miami that he's going to. Let me see. David performed at where this was at, because this is probably the one they're talking about, since he asked him in February of 2023. This was the summer. Yeah, that was in Miami. So I don't think he was that as big in 2023, was he? I mean, to be playing at this, I don't know. Who knows? Because I don't.
That's important what she just said. She was looking to see if he possibly played here in 2023, and he did not. And she said, I don't think he was that big in 2023, right? And I don't either, which is an important part of the story, because we have to keep in mind that these kids on Discord and stuff, they were his equals, right? They were a lot of them were younger than him, so they weren't his equal in that sense, but they were his equal in the sense that he wasn't like a superstar or anything. He never became a real superstar. Most of us didn't know who he was until this happened, right? At least I didn't. I don't think most of you did either. So, hey, Fiji. So we need to keep that in mind, because why? Because now he has this relationship with these kids, and because he's giving back and he's going back and forth, that's what would make it the difference between a parasocial relationship or not. If you're actively engaging with the people that are invested in you, it's no longer parasocial. A parasocial relationship is when only one party knows about it, right? So here he's having a full-blown friendship with these people, or an online friendship, for what that's worth. So he is growing and becoming famous while being friends with these people. Think about it. He probably would have never written half of the things or said half of the things that he's gotten caught said on live streams and stuff, like the one about being a gooner. I did not know what that was until last night when I Googled it. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. So we'll have to go over it, but it's like, oh my God, it's like extreme masturbation in public. I don't know. It's a whole thing. There's like group, I don't know, but they talk about it in Discord. My point is that I don't know that he would have said a lot of the things had he realized that he was going to get that big. So I think that that's an important part of this story, is that he gets power while being in this, Discord, and he already has power because he's already older than most of them. So it's so psychologically interesting. Hi, X8H8. I don't know if that's hate. X8 hate. I'm going to have to say that in my head a few times to try to figure that one out. If somebody wants to write it phonetically, that would be fantastic. No. Hi, Cubic. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for coming. I so appreciate you guys. You have no idea. Okay, let's keep going.
I don't even know who half these freaking people are these days. It was like August. This one's in March. Okay, so there's like more than one a year? Yeah, okay, here we go. Rolling Loud, California, March 3rd, 2023. David was listed on the extensive lineup for this event in Inglewood, California.
I stand corrected, and so does Zav. So he did play at the Rolling Loud California one, March 3rd to the 5th, 2023. He was listed on the extensive lineup for this event in Inglewood, California. He still wasn't that big yet. It says that his inclusion on both major lineups highlights his breaking through in the year 2023. So that's when he starts getting big. And it's only, February or March of 2023, so we're still at the very beginning of it.
Rolling Loud Miami, July 21st, 23rd, 2023. He was also featured rising artist at this major festival, appearing with other emerging talent. Wow, he's at both of them? What? No. Why can't I just get a list of it? Of every performer? Is there just so many that they can't just give me a list? Day 1, blah, blah, blah. Day 2. I know somewhere they probably have because I don't trust AI, It's the only problem. Well, I don't know if we should trust the AI, but AI says yes, but he's not on this poster, but still, that doesn't mean that he didn't play, because I think sometimes maybe on it and not listed, if you're not one of the big names. See, this is why you don't trust AI. Look, you look it up again and it says, nope, he did not perform. This has been happening way too much with stupid AI. I give you a
Wow, you guys, that is crazy. And I'm glad that she looked into it, because apparently, like she just said, he did not play at the Rolling Loud Festival in Miami. So this is, again, 2023. So AI is fairly new still. And wow, that's so interesting. Wow. Right? So he wasn't performing there.
completely different answer. But this is why everybody's hesitating to even believe. What the heck? 1 minute it says one thing, you type it in again and you give a different answer. It's bull crap. So conclusion is, I have no idea if he played. Okay, I'm moving on. Let's continue reading the Discord and the timeline. Okay, here we go. I Love Danny Phantom says, what do you like to write about? Any fave authors? David says, I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes, and a lot of death. And Sid says, you're so effing real for that. David says, I love gore. Andre says, type shit. Period says, gore is just. Star says, oh, yes. Post a screenshot of earlier David post where David said, I'm so serious, bro. Girls my age are retarded.
What? You guys, I can't believe he wrote that. There's no way he could have known that he was going to get it bigger or whatever, because I don't know. I mean, why would he write that? That's enough right there to cancel you by saying, I'm so serious, bro. Girls my age are the R word. He's literally telling us here that he doesn't like girls his age. If you want my opinion or my hypothesis on why, it would probably be, if I had to guess, that girls his age, because remember, it's 2/20/23, on 3/28/2023, he turns 18. So he's about to be 18 years old in a month. So girls that are 18, girls mature about 2 years sooner than guys too, right? So girls are more likely to call you out on things that are 18, 19 years old. Do you know what I mean? So who wouldn't call you out as much? A 14-year-old fan. And I think that that's so disgusting, because he clearly knows at this point that what he's doing is wrong, in my opinion.
David post where David said, I'm so serious, bro. Girls my age are retarded. David said, which I'm sure now this, it probably got started taken out of context when people kept reposting this about the girls his age are retarded. And here we are now. And if you guys didn't see my last video, I show you the conversation where he says that about girls his age. And you could see that he's talking about that he wants older women, not younger. That in that context, he's talking about girls his age are retarded. He wants older women, they're too young, or you know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad that Zav gives us that clarity, because if not, I could see how this very much so could be taken out of context, especially because of what's going on now. So I do think that it is important. You know what I mean?
I guess maybe not mature enough or whatever, and he wants to date older women. In that context, when he's having that conversation where he says that. Okay, let's continue. David said, I used to be addicted to watching gore vids. Vanny says, death scares the hell out of me. It's such a strange concept. Andre says, live leak. Is it live leak or live leak? Because he writes it like that, and then I've seen people write it live leak. I don't even know what that is, to be honest. It has something to do with gore videos, right? I should look that up. David said, I used to be addicted to watching gore vids. And Period said, really? David said, live leak was bookmarked, LMAO. Davey says, not going to lie, you doing that shit like Edgar Allan Poe type. And in response to David saying he's addicted to watching gore vids, Viper says, what the F? With a crying face, he said,
Wait, who said Edgar Allan Poe? What? Oh, Davey says, you're doing that shit like Edgar. That's pretty funny, actually. Edgar Allan Poe. He's a good poet. I don't know that I'd put them in the same category, though.
and he's addicted to watching gore vids. Viper says, what the F? With a crying face. He says, oh, in response to David saying, I love gore, deleted user posted a screenshot of, my God, what's his name? I think this is from American Psycho. Okay, so this is me editing, and it's Christian Bale. It came to me right away as I'm editing this. It's crazy how our memory does that. Like, you can't think of it when you wanted to so bad, and then it's just, oh, it's right there. The screenshot says,
what? You guys, what the F? David wrote, Thor, it's okay, I'm not mad, buddy. David wrote, I love gore, and repost deleted users American Psycho meme that says I like to dissect girls. What? Hey, YouTube.
I like to dissect girls. Zerk says, the F just happened. I joined VC and everyone dips. Cry face. In response to David saying he loves gore, Sid says, not gonna lie, I love gore art. It's so pretty. Not gonna lie. Viper says, David likes watching people die. Confirmed. Sid said, like, there's a girl on TikTok who makes gore art and it's so effing good. Period says, gore is what makes something serious real. Andre says, so we all confessing right now? Davey says, no wonder he made romantic homicide, bro. I'm sorry, aka Carp says, I'm gonna cry. Viper says, write a song about watching people die on a website. And Viper's kind of trolling in a way. He's trying to get dirt on people, and he's basically calling out how sick some of these people are. So he could be kind of the hero in a way where he's like, he's mocking them and stuff, you know? I think he's more trolling, though, than actually trying to do a good thing. I think he's just trying to be a jerk. But as he's doing that, he's actually doing the right thing, calling out these sickos. In response to Zerk saying, what the heck happened? I joined VC and everyone dips. 1A says, they in a different server. Deleted user says, does anyone want to play Among Us? We 8:15 right now. And Davey says, he loves gore. 1A says, they in a different server. Zerk says, oh. Andre says, oh, in response to Andre saying, are we all confessing? Sid says, I watch people cut on Twitter sometimes. It makes me feel better about my life.
What the fuck are we listening to? What's happening? I know I worked a lot of hours today, but I feel like I did like a substance or something. Like, what is happening? Yes, that's Zav's voice. It sure is. Everybody make sure you go like and subscribe to Zav. You guys, this conversation is so alarming on so many levels. I don't even know how to express it, you guys. He literally is saying here, what? Literally, the one guy says, are we confessing? They say he loves gore. And then I watch people cut on Twitter. It makes me feel better about my life. Like, what is happening?
If Matt says, you sure she didn't die just in the back of your mind? Question mark.
What?
In response to Period saying, gore is what makes something serious real, David said, I use it to desensitize myself. in response to him saying he's addicted to watching gore videos.
Well, there we go, folks. I used it to desensitize myself. I think A. Higgins said that earlier about being desensitized, right? So he literally tells us right here that he's become desensitized to gore. You should never be desensitized to gore, right? Because gore isn't scary, right? It's another level. It's sadistic in many ways. So, and there are people that love gore that are completely, contributing members of society. But when you're using it to desensitize yourself to it, that is a different story. I don't know about you, but I still get scared at like scary movies, knowing that like Freddy Krueger is not real and that nothing's going to happen, right? But I still get scared and I still look behind the shower. Well, I don't have a shower curtain anymore, but I used to look behind the shower curtain all the time because I always thought that somebody was going to like jump out behind the shower curtain, but I knew that they weren't real, but I still get scared. So here, I don't know, that's like alarming.
Vona says same in response to saying he uses it to desensitize himself. Period said, yeah, I get it. Sid says, real as F. Andre said, when's the first time you watched gore, David? David said he loves gore. Rat says, watch Happy Tree Friends right now. In response to David saying he uses it to desensitize himself, Giovanni says, yep. In response to Sid talking about watching people cut on Twitter sometimes and it makes him feel better about his life, Viper says, that is extremely disturbing. Davey says, no wonder he made romantic homicide, bro. Log says, in response to that, yeah, for real. Like in the back of his mind, she died for real, and he didn't even cry. Sid says, death doesn't affect me. And deleted user responds to David talking about desensitizing himself by watching this stuff. Deleted user says, David, how did you like the songs Hag made? Viper says, this is extremely disturbing. And Sid says, I know.
I'm glad someone pointed out that it was very disturbing. Okay, I can't go any further without pointing out that Z Young just said, my friend said, David was very rushy about things and that he seems like he had a lot of hidden stuff about him, that when he talked to David, it felt like David rehearsed what he was saying. Z Young, if that's true, right? Like, and there's no reason for me not to think that it is. If that's true, behaviorally, that is the behavior that we see often, a pattern of behavior that we see with antisocial personality. Somebody with antisocial personality very much feels the room out, right? So even here with the gore stuff, if David wrote something about gore in the beginning and people were like, ew, you guys are messed up, like what's going on, stuff like that, and reacted that way, he probably wouldn't have gone further with that. It was because everybody was very welcoming to that thought that he then goes even further. So here, I can't believe they're saying that the gore videos are funny. Like, there's nothing funny about it at all. But that's so gross. You guys, this is just so wrong on so many levels. Excuse me. On so many levels. Anyway, with your friend, what I would say is, you said, yes, ma'am, it was my close friend. Met him, and Neo, he also said Neo was like attracted to David, kinda. Like they were a couple. Shut up. Oh my God. Z Young. What? Wow. So Z Young, yes. So this is the thing. Somebody with the behavior patterns of antisocial personality, and I'm not diagnosing David, I'm just saying that if your friend was picking up that David was reacting to social situations in the way that he thought he should react, so rehearsed, right? That the fact that your friend was able to pick up on that is huge. So your friend said that he felt uncomfortable. Wow. Do you know if David was reciprocating? Because you say that your friend picked up that Neo was into David. Do you know if they report it, you know what I mean? This was around the summertime of 2025. So she would have already been passed for a year. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Do you know, Z Young, like how did they even see? That's the thing, right? I don't know how old your friend is. Like, I don't know if your friend's like his age, or I don't know how old you are, right? So, but I'm interested if you want to share, and how they even got to talking to where your friend would even get the opportunity to meet him, because that's part of this whole grooming thing, right? Is that what we see is that by bringing your friend out to and bringing Neo out, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm assuming, you know, even if your friend paid to go to wherever they went, the friend probably was exposed that day to a different type of life. And whether it be, you know, that David picked up the money for something, or just that, you know, he got to see other people, he got to see somebody that he considered famous, or, you know, becoming famous very much. So that's just so interesting. So you say it was at a music gathering. My friend is deep in the music industry, like he works with producer that David worked with. Okay. So he got to see him. Oh, that's interesting. So your friend I would love to talk to that friend. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you do too. Your friend's in his 20s. That's so interesting. I have so many questions for your friend. Oh my gosh, you guys. Well, let us know anything that you're willing to share. Cuff You says me too. I'm like so interested. Oh my God. True Crime does lives on TikTok with their husband, and you'll scream and he'll laugh. That's funny. That sounds like me and my husband. You'll have to send me a link. I'm also on TikTok. So if you like, I don't know how you could do it, but try to like, I don't know. We'll figure it out, or put it in Discord or something so I can support you too. You said I can probably get him in the Discord. What do you mean if that's okay? Of course that's okay. And Cuff You's really good about like being available if he came in. He said they talked for like 5 minutes, and David was rushing the conversation kinda. That's so interesting. That's so interesting, right? So on so many levels. So your friend was there not really as a fan, right? Your friend was there more because they were working, or were they there because they were, you know, trying to meet up with David? Because that would say something too. So also, you guys, oh my God, a wise woman. Hold on, let me share my video for that. A wise woman, clutch for 30 jewels. I don't even know what that means, but it works. I love you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I know what it means. You know what I mean. I'm just saying I haven't really had much of them. So you're like part of breaking my clutch 30 jewels cherry, if you will. How about that? Z, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. I really do. You have no idea. Every little bit that I get back from this goes right, or is going right into. Casey's been a member for 4 months. That's amazing, Casey. I love that. Thank you, you guys. I do appreciate that. I love hearing how long you guys have been around for. So thank you for sharing that. Z Young also says, but thank you again so very, very much. Okay, so you guys, Z Young says that David had a Tesla, but I don't think it was the same one. So well, obviously it wasn't, right? Think about it. I hope it wasn't the same one. Well, it obviously wasn't, because it gets found a month later. So, anyway, so here, I don't think so either. I think he had like a red one at that time, which is interesting, right? Wait, what's happening, Casey? Casey, that's so pretty. I never saw tulips. And Jules, thank you, Casey. You guys are so sweet. I love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You have no idea. Thank you so much. That looks so cute. I've never seen the tulips before. You're my first tuliper. Cuff, you've been a member for 10 months. What? I've had memberships for 10 months? Wow. Cuff you, thank you. I really, seriously, my channel would be nothing without you, and I'm dead serious about that. I appreciate you on so many levels. I could never thank you enough. So thank you so much for all you do for me and for the channel. And I don't want to cry, you guys. You're getting me all verklempt over here. But thank you. I appreciate you. Wow. Okay, so yeah, so you're going to have to tell us. So I'm going to have to read up on that and you know, and see about that friend, because that's really interesting. All right, let's keep going with this in the meantime.
Viper says, this is extremely disturbing. And Sid says, I know. Period says, has Gore ever been triggering like at least once? Matt says, David might have actually killed her, for real. This is back in 2023 they're talking about this. Then Davey responds to that comment that David wrote about desensitizing himself. And Davey says, not gonna lie, some Gore videos are funny. Andre, okay, so in response to Andre asking when's the first time that David watched Gore, David said, I saw a cartel execution on Reddit when I was 14. Matt says, not just mentally. And if you look at his previous comment, he's talking about David really killing somebody. So his last comment was, David might have actually killed her for real, not just mentally.
Does anybody know or have a guess of who you think that they're talking about? When they say her, like, are they referring to Celeste or somebody in particular? Because I know that they're referring to the song that he made in Romantic Homicide, In the Back of My Mind, not in the front of my Tesla, right? But in the back of his mind. So here, this kid saying, I think he really killed her. I wonder who her is in this particular instance, because we're back in February of 2023 and you have no idea. I was going to say, because I do believe Celeste was around already, so I don't know if she was like a known thing yet in Discord, but I guess we're going to find out. You think they were talking about Celeste? Yeah, I think so too. No, A. Higgins, that's the thing. I think Celeste was his first, so maybe not his first like girlfriend or whatever, you know, he probably had like but I think she was his first like real, and again, she was a child, so it was not real, so that is not the word I'm looking for. She was the first person that made him feel anything, right? Other than, you know, I mean, he's getting desensitized to gore and stuff. We now know that if he gets found guilty, you guys, he allegedly used a chainsaw? Like, what? Think about that. Think about using a chainsaw on a tree, right? And all the blowback that comes from the chainsaw. Like, what part of his thought process thought that it would be a good idea to use that? There has to be DNA. I mean, did they find that much DNA? Because I feel like there would have to be DNA everywhere. Someone let me know. I'm not the nurse here, so somebody let me know. Whoever's hitting them hearts, I appreciate you, and I'd ask everybody else to also hit them and the like if you can, to get me out there in the algorithm.
Matt's picking up on that. And I know this is before Celeste's death, but it's just crazy that they're even talking about him being capable of it. Okay, back to the reading. Vanny says, true. Sid says, I'm glad someone agrees, because, and in response to David talking about seeing a cartel execution on Reddit when he was 14, Sid said, same.
My God, a wise woman gifted some jewels and a heart. Thank you, Queen. Thank you. I appreciate you more than words can say. You guys are going to make me cry tonight. I feel it. I wasn't trying to cry, but we'll see what happens.
And in response to Period saying, has Gore ever been triggering like at least once? Viper says, I threw up when I was knee deep in R.I. bleak, whatever that is. So I had to look it up. It says the most horrifying subreddit you'll ever effing see. Includes, I don't know what that is, goatsy and tub girl. I'm not going to say that next word because that's a trigger word. for YouTube. But yeah, what I expected to see considering what they're talking about. But see, Viper is the one saying that he threw up when he was watching it because he's the one that's like in the chat, at least pretending or for real, you know, being like, this is horrible. You guys are sick. What are you guys talking about? And he's screenshotting everybody saying these disturbing things and then throwing it back in their face. So, all right, let's continue. In response to David seeing an execution when he was 14, Andre says, I think I know which one you're talking about, but damn, bro, you was young as F. And Davey says, I saw a wee get chopped off, bro, and I started to cry. David says, got to the point where I don't even cringe when I see it no more. Deleted user says, real. Deleted user says, please, bro. So I don't know if there's two different deleted users or if the same person is responding to their comment. I hate these deleted user ones that we can't tell who they are. Anyway, Sid says, I watched Gore when I was about 12. In response to David saying he saw a cartel execution, Period says, do you think you would handle Gore in real life? Honeybee's Nuts responds to David's seeing a cartel execution when he's 14. She says, Little Mexican Beans seeing that in real life, 4K. Sid, in response to Sid saying, I'm glad someone agrees because Vanny says, self-harm is competitive as hell. I've tried to stay away from watching it because it makes me feel like I have to do worse. And David said, I remember laughing at one point. It got bad. That's the thing, though, with these urges, like, you always have to top it. So these sickos, they want to keep doing worse and worse. So it starts off by watching it. And then it's watching worse. And then pretty soon they have to do it. And then doing worse. It's a sickness. It's sick. If you have those urges, you don't act on them. I can't say I understand from a personal experience because I've never had any urges like this at all. But I mean, people do, and it's scary. Anyway, so David says, I remember.
YouTube Bad Actor says, I remember accidentally watching the depth of Daniel Pearl. I'll never be able to unsee that. Was that the one with ice? I don't know if it's I don't want to like get myself demonetized over giving them, the word. But is that the one where it was like, because if so, I also saw that by accident, but I saw it. And there was like it happened so fast that like you couldn't, like it happened so, I'll never forget, at least for me it did. It happened so fast that I didn't even have time to process what I was watching to even make a decision on whether I wanted to continue watching it. Like it just was, I will never forget that. This is the thing though, we were a little bit older, and I think you're around my age, right? So we were a little bit older when that happened. Some of these kids are seeing this stuff at 13 and 14. And that's a problem. Like this sim person says, my cousin showed me the hub when I was very little. I don't know what age. That has an effect on you, right? So that could be very traumatizing to a person. So I think that I try to keep that in mind here as well. You know what I mean?
I remember laughing at one point. It got bad, man. Honeybee's Nut says, I'm a bean myself. Just saying. Sim says, my cousin showed me the hub when I was very little. I don't know what age. And in response to David saying he laughed at one point, deleted user says GYAT. What does that stand for? Okay, so like things like this, I feel like AI is right on, like simple things like this usually. So and plus I looked at other things and they're saying the same thing. So it stands for the GYATT. So now we know and I don't like to say those two words together. It's God damn.
It's so funny. I don't know if it's just my age or that I went to 12 years of Catholic school, but I don't like using the Lord's name in vain either. I'm such a nerd when it comes to that. Now, I will say every now and then, like, oh my God. But I don't say like JC, that whole thing. I don't do any of that. It's funny. But I'll say F all day long. Like it's no big deal.
So, and that kind of makes sense because its deleted user is saying that in response to David saying that he laughed at one point. It got that bad. Watching the sick stuff, he laughed. And the deleted user's like, what the heck? Kinda. That's what the GD stands for in that context. You would think like, what? Like, God, Okay, let's continue. Vani says, in response to her talking about self-harm being competitive as hell, and she tries to stay away from it because she always wanted to do worse than what she was watching, I guess. And David said, for real, to that comment. And I feel like the way he wrote it wasn't like a question. He capitalized it.
I know what you're talking about, Neva. If you put the link or whatever in Discord, they are in Discord. Sorry. Cuff you. If you give me the link or whatever in chat here that I could just like make it easy to go to in a few minutes, we'll go over to that to see, because I do think that that's important. And Neva was saying, you guys, that he made an arcade out of the garage. And I think it's important because the arcade, when you see it, I don't know who did it, but somebody did like an overlay where they show the placement of, there's like a bicycle on the wall. And the reason that's important is because when you just look at the one picture, your brain might assume, because there's like a doorway there, that like it would stop like a little bit after the bicycle, but it doesn't. There's a picture of the arcade part in the inside and the bicycle's on the wall, but there's a ton of wall after that, right? So it's a really big room, and he has like a black mat on the floor. Now that you said that, I do remember, and he has the black curtains all the way around. Now, I'm assuming that, and I'm not trying to be, I'm just trying to think, but wouldn't that also like get on the ceiling and stuff? Like, I just don't know how he would be able to clean that whole thing up. Now, you can say that he had months. I mean, I know that he left on tour and stuff, but he did come back and then he would leave again. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Like, for real.
Oh, and real quick about her dad. I did see that her dad said that now, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, and I don't know the exact words, I'm paraphrasing, but the dad said, I never met David, and we never got money from him or his family or something like that, right? So, or anybody, in my family, he said. So let me say that again. He says, paraphrasing, I never met David, and we never received payment or money from David, not me or anybody in my family. What that said to me was that he might have never met David, but he didn't say we never met David. He said I never met David. Does that mean that the mom did? Do you know what I mean? Because he was very clear about we never took any money type thing. So why not say we never met David? I'm just saying. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that. You guys know what I mean? Let me know.
Like, he agrees. Like, he probably gets the same urges. Because if not, you would think he would put a question mark or it wouldn't be capitalized. I don't know. I think he's agreeing. Doesn't surprise me. And in response to the laughing comment David said, Andre posts the sticker of David. Hag says, me too, about laughing. Honeybee's nuts comment, I'm a bean myself, just saying log response.
How about I think I was just muted when I just said that. So what I was saying was, Case, it's a microphone. I don't know why I'm holding it like this. It's usually next to me over here, which I should probably put the microphone down. Let me put the microphone down over here. I'm holding it like as if I'm like live on like CNN. But if only it were a bond case, that's what I said. It's not. It's just a microphone, but it's down now. I'm hands-free again, you guys. I don't know why I was holding it like that. I told you, it's been a long day.
And says Latina in response to David saying that he was laughing at one point. Period says no, because the derealization after watching it is crazy. In response to it, David talking about he don't even cringe anymore. Sid says, me too, bro. I watch people SH on Twitter and it don't even affect me. 1A says, give me the code Amogus. Hag says, I'm clinically insane. I'm sorry says, I'm spoiled. Angie says, slay. Sim says, my cousin showed me the hub when I was very little. I don't know what age. Deleted user says, the hub. Honeybee's nut says, Mexican. Yes, sir. So she's responding to, remember the person was asking if she was Latina. Sim says, is this a therapy session? And in response to Vanny's comment about self-harm being competitive, and
I can't believe somebody said self-harm is competitive. So Cuff, you gave us this tab here, you guys, to look at. This is Murad Murali. I don't know if I said that right, but make sure you guys go like and subscribe to him as well. I already was liked and subscribed over here. So, oh no, why did I just hit subscribed again when I was coming over here? Because I was already subscribed to him. I liked this video too. So this is about, it says David's parents are going down. Celeste's passport location was revealed. So let's see what they have to say about that.
So more screenshots of David are resurfacing, and this man was sitting there playing in our faces, as I've said before, watching this time specific documentaries, true detective programs about how police would hunt down somebody who was basically a murderer. This is what he was watching on his last days of tour, and this is how he was basically training to prevent himself from being caught. He wanted to watch all of this stuff. His subconscious was basically like, you know what, let's plan. And your entire plan flopped as far as I'm concerned, because you're currently sitting behind bars, shackled and in orange jumpsuits. But this is what I mean when I say that a lot of these artists and people are absolute freaks, and they will play in your faces when it comes to them doing things and showing you in some kind of way so that they feel better that they are showing you.
Is that Celeste? Right there? Does anybody know who that is? Oh no.
Here is a screenshot from his Withered Tour vlog day 6 video that was uploaded to both YouTube and TikTok, and you can see that he's watching something, maybe because he related to the antagonist of the show, or perhaps he was looking for tips on how to avoid a high level investigation. But it's pretty dark indeed. Lunch plus true detective combo undefeated. You can see him here about how they're hunting down some pedo murderer in his last days of tour, and he definitely looks very, you know, invested in the show, because he probably thought about the things that he's done to Celeste and how he's going to get away with it, and clearly that didn't go to plan. He is completely effed. I'm also seeing multiple lawyers saying that the first degree charge is not as strong as people think it is. No shade, but I do find it irritating when lawyers with legal backgrounds are not part of the trial but want to give just this legal advice that is in a way very different to what the prosecution are saying.
Okay, so let me just point out real quick, and because I also have to stop it because you can't just show the whole thing, but let me just say real quick that I think we have to keep in mind, well, one thing, like Harlot said, you don't know where he got the information about the parents allowing her to go to London. I don't know where somebody would get that information either. All I could do is speculate that he's speculating that the parents would have had to known, because to get a passport, you have to get at least one parent's signature, if not two. And then once you go to Europe, apparently there's like different signatures for if kids go. So if that's the case, then he's probably speculating on that. However, he's also he's showing bias here a little bit, which is fine. He's allowed to. He's not a prosecutor or a defense attorney here, right? So he's allowed to. But what he's saying here is that, oh, A. Higgins, I hope everything's okay too. No problem. Have a great night. But here, you guys, this is what I would say, that he is not liking what the defense has to say, obviously, right? I think about TMZ and Mark Garagos, and, you know, they're defense attorneys. However, on the other hand, I want David to get the best defense that he could possibly get, because the better defense he gets, the less chance something gets overturned on an appeal. And because it's his right to YouTube, tell us how you really feel. And because it's our right to to get a defense. Everybody has the right to a defense. So whether you're guilty or not. So I think that if we just let the system play out, you know, he will get his, but it is a defense attorney's job to defend people when nobody else will, right? Somebody has to do it. It's part of our Constitution. If somebody didn't do it, we wouldn't have the Constitution. So just like how I don't like, you know, or I don't really care anymore. I haven't even, like, I could care less, but I didn't like how that one person was like saying all this bad stuff about me. She wrote a whole article. It got 51,000 views. I was like, but now, like, if that would have happened in the very beginning, I might have been like, oh my God. But now I was like, thanks for the traffic, right? Like, let people come through and see who I am for myself. And they came here because they read your horrible thing about me, but they stayed because they realized that you're wrong type thing. So I guess what I'm saying is that even though I didn't love what that person had to say about me, it is still their constitutional right to say what they want. Now, they've also, you know, you could say the person's going to step, you know, even further, and it's gotten to slander. But when it just comes to your opinion about somebody, it is your right to have an opinion about me, about him, about the defense, about David, like about everything. You're allowed to have an opinion, and, you know, at least if you live under our laws. So I do think that that's a very important right that we must protect, even if it's something that we don't like that's being said about us. And again, I'm not that I really was. Haters are going to hate, exactly. I'm not worried about it.
And I get it. They want to give their legal background. They want to give their legal... I get all that. But this man, David, is royally effed. And I don't need to be a lawyer for anybody to see that. They've got terabytes of CP on his phone. They've got blood evidence that was found at his garage that matches her genetic profile, let alone the fact that, you know, he bought all of this stuff. There is a lot. Not only that, but...
Sorry to interrupt again, but you two bad actors, she wrote something about you too, just so you know. But consider it a badge of honor. You are on her radar. So it's a badge of honor. So's Cuff You. So there you go. The three of us, we're all on the island together.
You know, the prosecution said that David watched her bleed out. Of course, they have evidence for that they're going to relay at the preliminary hearing or the trial. And so with all of that at there, to me, it's very bizarre that our lawyers talking about how the first degree charge is very weak. And no shade, but TikTok lawyers sometimes irk the shit out of me because you don't know what you're talking about. You think that you should know, but you clearly don't. And I don't know why they're running this narrative, but I just find it to be frustrating and quite defeatist with all of the exclusives. And clearly David dumped the passport here. And here's another picture that TMZ, I don't know how they're getting all of these exclusive, child, but, you know, TMZ seems to be the ones with all of the exclusives. And clearly David dumped the passport here. But who knows what other evidence he was throwing around, because it's just by chance that, you know, people found her passport. But I believe, and others believe as well on forums, that perhaps this is where he was hiding the fingers. This is where he was hiding any other part, or the left eye or something like that. Because if he, you know, wanted to dump the passport so far away, he should have burned it, or you know.
Okay, again, this is all allegedly in this person's opinion. So he is a little bit opinionated here. It's under his, it's in his opinion. Well, we do know, so we do know that David went here, right? So there is evidence that shows that he went to this place. What is it, Santa Monica, I believe? However, you guys, I'm holding the microphone again. I don't know why. I just can't help myself right now. But I think because I don't want to forget to hit the mute button, so it's just easier to have it right here. But anyway, there is evidence that he was here also because people that were walking along like a path or something a while later came across Celeste's passport. So that's evidence to show, or to indicate, in my opinion at least, that when he went there, that he was disposing of some of her personal stuff, not to then be connected. And then also he went far enough, probably hoping that if, you know, people did go looking for her, if they found her passport out in Santa Monica, that they would just assume that she was out in Santa Monica and something happened to her out there, right? So, you know, I think that it's important that they have that, because it shows, in my opinion, that, you know, consciousness of guilt. Isn't that what it's called?
Completely got away, completely, extinguished it. I don't know why I didn't do that. But I also think that perhaps...
Does anybody believe anything different?
He was burying, Celeste's body parts for some kind of ritual, for some kind of remembrance, or for something for him to actually return to in the night as his, adulthood goes on, to remind himself of basically what he did to her in some kind of way. I don't understand why, some sick fantasy game. But, the passport was left quite far away. Phew. Somebody says it's so crazy that he made all the efforts to get rid of the fingers because of the tattoo, when he has so much of a digital footprint that clearly shows him as a predator.
What do you guys think about the fingers? He's alleging here that maybe he got rid of the fingers there too. I really don't know. I don't know that we could say. I'm going to skip a little bit through because I don't want to show this guy's entire video. You're supposed to make it to where people go and watch the rest of it if they would like to. So I just skipped ahead just a few seconds.
He needed. I know a lot of people in my last video were saying to me, well, Murad, when she went to that last Uber for David, that, she can sneak out, parents can see, parents don't know when your child can sneak out. Why are you blaming the parents? My thing is this: she was a runaway child for at least a year before she was missing. She was a runaway child for a while. She was then missing for a while. With that past history, in what world do you not know or detect or see or prepare or prevent your minor daughter getting in an Uber on their own? The trajectory is already there that your child is quite problematic and troublesome and is continuously leaving the house and has literally...
Okay, again, he's very opinionated here, and that's his opinion too. And a lot of people agree with him. But what he's saying here, I think the point here is that the parents, I don't know how you guys feel. I know that there's only so much that you could do, people say, and stuff like that. But I do feel like Celeste was, what's the word I'm looking for? That people drop the ball everywhere for her. What's the word I'm looking for? Hi, Ella. Welcome in, Ella. I'm glad that you're here. And she met the Uber around the corner, says Ella. The thing there is that with the Uber, I also think that we have to keep in mind, and again, I actually agree with this guy as far as I feel like they what's the word I'm looking for? Let her down. What I keep saying, drop the ball. That's what it means. But there's a word that I'm looking for here that's a very easy word. It's nothing it's not like a 50-cent word. It's a regular word. I just am having a loss of words right now. But I feel like she was let down in many areas and on many occasions. And that's the thing that I think is important here, that I want to point out, that I think he gets to here, and that I think is a really important point. And that is, and look, I'm holding my mic like he is too. Look at that. But that is that this is a pattern of behavior, and that's where it becomes a problem for me. So this didn't happen once or twice or 5 times or 10 times. This was happening over and over and over, so much so that we're led to believe that she wasn't really missing anymore towards the end. Neglect, there you go. Yes. Neglected. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. That she was neglected by many people. You know what I mean? So this is the thing. I don't know what you guys think. Failed. Yes, that too. She was failed. I think that's what I was looking for. She was failed by many people. Neglected is definitely what I should be adding to. But I think failed that's why I was saying it wasn't a big word. It was a regular word. I just wasn't getting my words together. So, hey Wendy, come on in, yo. So here, you guys, I think that he's making a good point, and this is a pattern of behavior. I also think that it's important I always try to play devil's advocate or give the other side, and I would say, is it impossible for a 14-year-old to sneak out of their house? when the parents are sleeping? No, obviously not, right? I mean, kids do it all the time. I didn't do it. I was a big nerd, but people do it all the time. So, I do see that. I guess the problem for me again is that it's happening over and over and over and over and over. He's becoming, oh, wait, his manga, yes. His manga was a big, 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 big part of his life. And YouTube says the difference between strangers and people that care about are more likely to set boundaries, confront you, or actively discourage actions that are bad for you, even if it causes temporary friction. Boom, right there. That is an understatement, right, you guys? I mean, that's so well said. So thank you for saying that. So even if it causes temporary friction, but this is my thing too. I also am a big believer in, I don't get involved really in people's business as much as I can. This would be a different story, right? So even if you're somebody out there like me, in the sense that you try to and I should probably get involved more in things, and I don't, type thing, but not when it comes to a kid, right? That's where it's different. And I just think that this poor kid was failed. That was the word I'm looking for. I think this kid was failed many times over. And I think that's the point that he's picking up on.
Gone missing. Any parent I know who has experienced a child that's gone missing is not going to let their child get into
I want to know how many parents, God forbid, I hope he doesn't know any parents. He's like, every parent I know with a child gone missing. He probably meant that have snuck out, but so that was, it's not funny. It was just not funny. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
But on their own in the near future whilst they are still a minor. That's just not going to happen. So it's pure parent incompetent behavior, and you can't argue against that. I'm so sorry. And whilst Celeste's dad can say whatever the hell he wants to say in the previous statement, I do believe that as this trial goes on, things about the incompetent behavior of Celeste's parents are definitely going to be revealed. Also,
if that is true, right? If what he's saying is true, and let's say throughout the trial, we find out that there was gross negligence on the parents' behalf, what do you guys think is the appropriate consequence for that? This is where, and don't agree with me because I'm not saying the right thing here. I'm just saying, me personally, I always shy away from prosecution for the parents, because I guess I already feel like they're already suffering, the ultimate consequence. And you guys are going to probably come at me for this too, but same thing with Jen Soto, in my opinion. I feel like although she was negligent and should have protected her daughter more and should have laid stronger boundaries, she didn't. And part of that was because it made Maddie, it made her mood happier, stuff like that. I'm sure Celeste, she was, if she's not getting her way, like any 13, 14-year-old, you don't like that. I mean, nobody likes that. I don't like that at 47, let alone at 13. So, but I think that there are boundaries that you have to keep. And I don't know what Celeste's parents' boundaries were, or if they had them. I don't know what they were. But we know enough to know that they did go to the police to report her missing multiple times. My question to you is, does anybody think, and again, this is just a question, I'm not saying that I'm necessarily thinking this, but I'd be lying if I didn't say it crossed my mind. And I don't know this. I feel guilty even saying this much, or questioning it. Does anybody think there's a possibility that the parents reported her missing and stuff? Maybe they didn't know where she was, but at the same time, maybe they did know where she was. They knew she wasn't coming home, and you get in trouble for that shit if your kid don't go to school. That's truancy. That goes right back on the parents. So who knows? Could they have said to her, you're come home, or we're reporting you missing type thing, and then they report her missing, and that then protects them from truancy, and it also, tells her we're serious. I don't know. Or did they just really not know where she was at all? I don't know. But I feel like from what I heard, they said that they knew, or at least the mom said she knew that she was dating a David. And I mean, I guess you could say there's a ton of Davids. How do we know it's that one? But I mean, I don't know. I'm just having a hard time believing that the mom didn't know at all. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit more.
Money, and simply they just did not care about.
Yes, I want to hear about
when
this.
It came to Celeste, they can sit there and all run the narrative. They didn't know that she was that young. They didn't know that she was that young. But I'm pretty sure many of them knew that she was that young, and they all turned a blind eye.
So he's talking about David's parents right here. What do you guys think about that? Because that is so interesting, right? So, oh, Birdie, do not text and drive. The detective is Strategic Eyes. He's awesome. He's got some good shows. I miss him sometimes, but when I catch him, he's pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know. So I think that that's important here too. So what do you think about his parents? Do you guys think that his parents knew about it as well? You know what I mean? And just for the sake of, I have more slides to share, I'm going to jump back to my slides real quick because I want to keep it broken up a little bit. So let me just go here real quick. So celebrity persona versus private conduct. So here we have a public image can create trust before trust is earned. Think of the discords that we were listening to. Fans may confuse vulnerability in art with vulnerability in character. Again, when you think of the discords, which I think were perfect for this live because it literally showed how some of those people were saying things like, it didn't just happen in the back of your mind, it happened in real life. You really killed her. And this didn't even happen yet. So people were, this person was already, maybe rightfully so, confusing his character with his real life persona. Aesthetic darkness is not evidence, you guys, but it can become a screen people project onto. So that is so very important. And then the question is not, did music cause this? It's how do image and access shape risk? So that is the real issue here for me. So I do think that that is very important. Of course, Thor wants to go out. You know what I mean? He always wants to go out when I'm doing a live. So real quick, what I'm doing is I'm going back to, now that we talked about his parents and her parents, because I do think that that's going to come up in the trial. I don't know if anybody will be held accountable, but because again, we're talking about her parents a lot here, but I don't hear enough about his parents. Do you? Am I just not seeing the right interviews? Like, I hear all this stuff about her dad, her mom. And again, she's the victim and she should be front and center. So I could see why her family's then front and center. However, I don't think his family needs to be getting off the hook in any way, right? So I think it's important that we keep the focus, back on them, that if anything, did they know? Do you guys think they know? You know what I mean? I think there's a huge possibility. I don't know how they didn't. From what I heard, didn't he take her to Texas to meet his family? I thought he did. So I do think that's important. So real quick, we're going to go back to... I'm going to go back to the Discord real quick because the Discord goes right into this, and because Thor is going to keep barking if I don't let him out. So I'm going to let Thor out real quick, but I want you guys to hear the Discord because I think that's the part that is going to go with this next slide or two.
So I try to do worse. We have fellow SH in the chat. And then a deleted user's comment that says the hub. Sim says, can I say porn? Question mark? I don't know. Log says, oh my God, it's a Latina. David said, porn is garbage though. Viper says, the conversation is so uncomfortable. Omar says, I ain't about to partake in whatever therapy is happening right now. I got too much baggage. In response to David's point, garbage though, Andre says, oh my God, it is. In response to Vonnie's, the self-harm comment, a lot of people are responding to that. Sid says, me too. I feel invalid because I don't do it deep enough or whatevs. Wow. David says, gore. And Rat saying, we have a fellow SH in chat. Vanny says, nobody is alone. Response to David saying, gore porn. Kanji says, ... question mark. Deleted user says, I discovered PH when I was in 4th grade. And I remember the first video I watched by the name to the exact title. So PH stands for Pornhub. Anyway, in response to David saying gore porn, Omar says, where does smut fall into? And Davey says, bro, 2020 was the worst year. I almost killed myself and did self. In response to David's gore porn, 1A says, that's worse. In response to David saying porn is garbage, though, Viper says, deletes Pornhub account. Log says, both mess with your brain. Giovanni says, bros jerk off to people getting beheaded. This is all in response to David's post saying gore porn. Hag says, this kind of crazy. Deleted user says, dog, what?
This is so disturbing. I'm like listening as I'm letting the dog out, and I'm like, this is so effed up on so many levels. And now they're talking about corn addiction. Like, what? Like, I don't know. I think this is what's so alarming about this whole chat here. I believe a lot of these individuals are young. I don't know how young, but they're not in their 40s type thing.
On top. I'm sorry, says gay gore. Vani says porn addiction is one of the most intoxicating fixations that you can develop. Deleted user says gore is weird. It's fire. In response to Viper saying deletes Pornhub account, Kanji says, why do you have an account? In response to Vanny saying nobody's alone, Rat says, David said he has around 7 songs about SH. And at the moment he said it, I just bawled. And then 1A posts this picture of David on the ground with the blindfold. Period says, bloody sceneries have always been comforting in a way that I cannot explain. David, would you want to work at a crime scene? Andre says, David, you ain't a necrophiliac, are you? And in response to Period's asking David if he wants to work at a crime scene, David said, definitely. I wanted to be a detective. And in response to Andre asking if he's a necrophiliac, David says, no, fetishes are weird. In response to David wanting to be a detective, Viper says, David the instigator. And in response to David saying no fetishes are weird, Andre says, I was finna say. Sid says, preach, bro. I've been struggling with self since 2021. Y'all never alone in whatever you going through. Sid says, I'm only a couple days clean, but I'm still proud of myself because I really used to not be able to go hours without doing it.
Wow, this is just crazy, right? But here you go, you guys. So real quick, I know that it's, you said that it was back far or something. You said yes, but it's way back there. So I just asked to repost it again real quick, if they could repost it, if they have it handy, because I do kind of want to see that. And we could always delete it as a duplicate right afterwards. That way, I've just figured it was less work for you to have to try and go back and find it. And if I try to go back and find it, we'll be here till tomorrow. So, because I have nowhere to even start looking. I wouldn't even know where to go.
Period responds to David's wanting to be a detective. He says, would that not be LWK intimidating, though? Man, I got to get used to these abbreviations so they come off the top of my head when I'm reading. I could always come up with it, but it takes a minute to think. Would that not be I don't know, low-key intimidating, maybe? Like, what if you just find a barrel of organs? And in response to Sid saying she only has a couple days clean, Rat says, proud of you, man. It's hard as F to stop or even limit. David says, I watch gore to disconnect the part of my brain that feels empathy to the wrong things. But you should be feeling empathy to those things. So why would you want to disconnect it? That makes absolutely no sense, what he's saying right there. He's trying to seem all smart, and that is stupid. That's some of the stuff you should feel empathy for. Anyway, Vonnie says, it's so sad to see beautiful people feel the need to hurt themselves. Praying on the healing of everyone in this chat right now. In response to David saying, no fetishes are weird, deleted user says, this server got a David fetish, though. And in response to David saying he watches gore to disconnect the part of his brain that feels empathy to the wrong things, I love Danny Phantom says, song lyric. Davey says, same. David says, yeah, the blindfold character is like the embodiment of hate and all that. And Piri said, I honestly like new feelings like that. Like when I first watch gore, I get nostalgic at some point because of
What? Nostalgic? Because the feeling at the moment, I don't know if that makes sense. What? And you guys, how about right here that it says on February 20th, 2023 at 1:02 a.m., David writes on his Discord, yeah, the blindfold character is like the embodiment of hate and all that. Okay? I mean, he literally tells on himself.
The feeling at the moment. I don't know if that makes sense. Giovanni says, honestly, it makes sense why David's character is such a psychopath. And then Davey responds with this masturbation effect post. And then David said, that's why he kills me in every vid. And Vonnie says, do you guys believe in reincarnation? And Nuhio says, I believe in romantic homicide, but he spells it all weird. Period said, bias about that. Hag says, my song. Nohio says, sex. Andre said, DVD lore, 100%. I'm guessing he meant to put David lore. And in response to David saying, that's why he kills me in every vid, Giovanni says, and that's a character I just love. In response to Vonnie asking people if they believe in reincarnation, Kianji says, not really, but I love the concept. Giovanni says, the David lore is interesting. And in response to David saying, that's why he kills me in every vid, Davey says, he my favorite character. David said, I want the villain to win, though. Nahiro posted an attachment. Sorry, I didn't grab that. But in response, Rat says,
again, you guys, he tells us what he's thinking here. He literally says that, what does he say? I want the villain to win, though. Like, he just tells us what he's thinking.
ride a dick homicide. Okay, I don't know what the attachment is, but okay. Okay, so that's where I'm going to end it on the gore topic. And you'll see when I do the Itami topic, I think it's Itami, sorry. I know people got on me when I kept saying Itami. I think he pronounces it Itami. But when I do the Itami topic, we'll continue with this thread right here. But I have to be able to separate it somewhere to kind of break these up into topics. But all right, let me know how you're liking these series of going through the Discord and stuff. Hopefully I didn't waste my time because I spent a lot of time on it. Let me know if I wasted my time or if you guys are liking it. I learned a lot actually going through it all. Like I said, I'm going to be doing
I learned a lot too going through that. I think that these were great videos. She does more of them. I don't know if you guys are tired or not. I didn't see anything in the Discord. I was like trying to look, but I didn't see anything. But I did try to look. So if I do see something though in the next few minutes, I will post it up there. But staying on the Discord, because I want to stay on that like topic, that way I can better post, you know what I mean? Also, wait, let me see. I think I still have another slide or so. So let me do a slide again real quick and then, wait, we're past this. Coercive control. Let's talk about coercive control real quick. And if you're just joining, you should stick around for this because this affects people all over. And this goes with narcissism, and people love the topic of narcissism. And I find that people love the topic of narcissism because so many of us have been affected by a narcissist in our real life and on a very personal level. So not just I know a narcissist, but I've been affected by a narcissist. And that's a whole other thing. And if you've been affected by a narcissist at any point of your life, you know what I'm talking about. So it's like if you know, you know. So if you're somebody who has experienced that before, you should stick around for this part because I do think that this part is so important. You should also hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, just to get me out there so more people like you can see this. So isolation from your peers or family is usually first. So even if you have, you know, let's say you graduate, Billy graduates this coming up, right, with his master's. Let's say, well, first of all, he wouldn't probably be online with us if he was experiencing coercive control, right? So, but let's say it was like the beginning of a relationship, you would start to find like you're not seeing your family as much as you usually do, your friends, you haven't seen them in forever. It's just, and you really can't, oh, what's happening? Thank you, true crime. Thank you, sent a gift. Thank you so very much. You guys, I feel so special. Thank you so much for doing that. I do try to work really hard on these. I do appreciate you. Wow. Thank you. And I want to, you know, return the views and stuff when you get back up your when you go live again. But I still want to go back and watch some of them because I'm sure they're great. Thank you so much, True Crime. I so appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. Coercive control, isolation from peers and family, big part. This again, just like with grooming, this happens usually very slowly. So it's not like you just start going out with somebody and they're like, you can't see your family and your friends ever again. It doesn't happen that way. If it did, we would be like, I don't want to see you anymore, right? Or at least most of us would. That's not how it happens, which is why it gets us, because it happens very slowly. So like I said, you just start to notice that you haven't seen your family in a while. You haven't hung out with your friends in a while. Every time you make plans to hang out with your friends, something comes up, and it's almost like, is this like even a coincidence anymore? Like I feel like, and your friend might be saying something like, oh, are you going to have another excuse if we make plans again, da da da. And you start noticing those things. So you start to feel isolated from them. And as time goes on, you guys, this often leads to isolation, to where like you and your friends haven't spoken in a few years. You only see your family once in a blue moon if you see them, type thing. So relationships are usually framed as a special, secret, or as misunderstood. So again, if you think about, when I think of the grooming situations, I think about the friend that I had in my own life with the priest. What a story. You guys, talk about a true crime story. I go back to that a lot when we talk about this. I don't know why I haven't covered that, or the case of my best friend, Mrs. Thierry, that I always talk about, Mr. and Mrs. Thierry. I don't know why I haven't covered that one either. I should be covering those things, but I definitely should cover the one about my friend with the priest. It's like next level. But even in that, or if you're looking at the Soto case, or if you're looking at, well, it's actually the Stearns case, it's not the Soto case. The Stearns case, or if you're looking at David Burke case, you see a commonality here. Often the relationship it's usually secret and special, or secret and misunderstood, or secret, special, and misunderstood, right? So by having something misunderstood, especially when you're the younger person and now you have this older person, even if the older person is within 10 years of your age, right? 10 years is everything when you're 14 years old. So it's almost half your life. So, you usually look up to whatever that other person is thinking or feeling, or you're more likely to trust in them. So then if they start to make it look like your relationship is just misunderstood, people just don't understand the love that we have. People don't understand that you're mature for your age and that I'm immature for my age. So we're really not that far. You have to see the way people will rationalize this, right? Even family members will often rationalize this. And I wouldn't be surprised, I don't know this to be true, but I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that both families rationalized it to some sense. They could have felt like, if I don't accept it, they're just not going to come around, type thing. And whether that's true or not, that doesn't make it right. But I'm just saying that could be a possibility that we see coming up. Emotional rewards are followed usually by fear, pressure, and threats. So this is the cycle here, right? We have reward, threat, reward, pressure, reward, threat, reward, pressure. And the thing that winds up being your biggest security becomes your biggest threat. And that is such a confusing message. And when you're living this over and over and over again, think about how hard it is then. And some of you know offhand, first thing, but it then becomes that much harder because the fear of not knowing what lies ahead of you, or what you could be walking out into, like, what's this new world going to be? Where am I going to go? We start thinking all the things, right? Who's going to, love me with kids and and a and all that. We think of everything that could possibly go wrong. And we don't often think of the important thing there, that you need to get yourself out of danger. And that this person, although it feels like they're the biggest source of security to you, they're posing threat. And when somebody could be a threat to you, they are not your security. So that security becomes real superficial when somebody puts the fear of, everything into you. So that's a big thing to remember. We frame here the power imbalance hidden under romance, fandom, or membership is a big one here. Whether we're talking about the membership of the priesthood, right? That with my friend's case, and there his parents trusted this priest because he's a priest. Why would a Franciscan priest do anything like that? Like, why would he perpetrate on their child? He wouldn't do such a thing. So even when, time went on and there were red flags here and there, it was easy for them to just not see the red flags, or to be like, no, and just to think, not realizing or thinking. You don't want to think that, especially when you guys have to remember, and all of you probably know somebody that has antisocial personality, and many of you just don't know it because the person is good at, masking their behaviors and their words and things like that. He was so good at he reminded me of a Chris Watts in the sense that he was the perfect priest. He was, in our chorus, he had more people join the chorus in the years that he was president of the school than any other time in the whole school's history. And we were huge. And he did things like Sister Act. Do you guys remember Sister Act? He did those types of things. I look back now and we were straight in church singing, what would they sing? My God instead of my guy. It was fun. It was cool, right? But we would be like, oh my God, he's so cool. Not realizing that he was getting us, he was hitting us where he knew he could. And you should meet people where they're at. So it was a good thing that he met students where they're at. But that same thing was also, so that same sense of, that brought us security, you guys. It made us feel like we were heard. It was like, oh, wow, this guy's really cool. He cares about what we want to do. So that gives us now, it gives him a little bit more power. And, it gives you a sense of membership that he's accepting you into his chorus world. It was such a mind. Now that I look back at it, I'm like, how did that even occur? He would straight hit the boys, he would smack them in the head or hit them, and none of us would dare to tell our parents. He never told us not. I say thank you, Cuffy. He never told us not to do that, right? But we just didn't, because nobody wanted him to ever get in trouble. He was so cool to us, not realizing that he was, again, embezzling $1 million from the school and essaying a few of the boys, but one of them in particular was a really good friend of mine who took his life eventually. The victim blamed for ruining the adult's life if they speak. That was one of the things, again, not to go back to my friend's story, I should probably just cover it all together because it's so interesting. And Netflix and stuff have done documentaries where his story appears in it. I'll have to get all the information for you guys. It's so interesting. But this Franciscan priest, the statute of limitations ran out, so they couldn't get him for anything related to SA. They could only get him for the financial fraud, and he does get found guilty eventually, but he's already out of jail and he's already priesting somewhere else. So I think that is also, that guy does still go on, and he is out of jail. So maybe I should bring attention to something like that, especially because my friend no longer has his voice anymore. This priest got him, allegedly, you could say, whatever. My friend was addicted, and this priest, the alleged part was what I was saying was, I don't know if the priest introduced him to specific substances, but he very much encouraged it and gave money for it. And I don't know if you guys remember, and this is all public knowledge, so I'm not telling my friend's story in a disrespectful way, God rest his soul, but the priest would ask him to do things that at first didn't seem very sexual. So, but they were definitely over the, when I tell you this, you're all going to be like, oh, that is not okay. However, we had this ongoing relationship with this priest, and we went to Catholic school. So a lot of it, we just assumed, I don't know, all of us were like duped by this guy. So he had this friend. So if this friend needed alcohol or, you know, a substance of some sort, or if he needed to pay off a gambling debt that he lost, he would start to get like desperate in a sense where he would start to do things like that were more than just sweeping the floor type stuff. So for example, and again, please nobody judge, because you have to remember this was grooming over many years and it got to this, but he would have my friend urinate in black socks, like ankle socks. Like they had to be a certain kind of socks, they had to be the color black, they had to be in a baggie, and he had to urinate a certain amount on them. Like they had to be a certain, and if he did those things, he got the things that he needed done. So do you guys then see how in the moment, you know, if somebody might come after you because you owe them money because you lost a bet, or if you need to pay somebody because you did a substance that you haven't paid for yet, and this guy now bails you out again, that might not feel as inappropriate as it is. It's so inappropriate. I get that. I'm talking about in the mind of, we were 15 years old, 16 and 17 years old, 14, 15, 16, and 17 when this was happening. So we were really young. So we didn't really know any better. So I'm not putting that back on us. This was the adult's responsibility to know better. So, but he told us about this back then. So part of me carries guilt in a sense, because not that I could have done anything, I don't think, but like we knew that this priest would, like, we also knew that this friend of ours had no money and that he didn't work and that he would owe people and then all of a sudden get the money. And so we knew that he was getting it over at the rectory and probably from father, but we didn't really know what for. Like nobody ever really thought that. When he tells us later on, it's the sock stories that clearly are like, nobody makes that stuff up. And there's a bunch of things like that. It's so sick, I can't even tell you. But they're all the things that then get this person to not only be groomed by you, but now you're being abused, sometimes in multiple ways, right? But here it's with coercive control. We're talking, you know, financial control or financial abuse. We're talking physical, emotional, so many things. If you tell anybody you're going to ruin my life, I'm a Franciscan priest. Like people look up to me, you know, this whole parish, this priest, you guys, he did a Saturday night mass. Nobody ever would want to go to church. This is so terrible, but this is so true of most Christians or Catholics. But nobody ever wants to go to church for an hour and 15 minutes, right? Not nobody. I'm saying like at least in my neighborhood. So this priest was like, okay, so he met us where we were, and he would do, if you went to church on Saturday at 5 p.m., he did the mass. You had to be there at 5. You were done by 5:30. You were never gone after 5:30. That was including like getting the Eucharist and everything. So the church would be packed, like literally packed, and like there would be overflow. They started putting TVs in like the basement stuff, so people would come because that was their way of not having to go for an hour and 15 minutes on Sunday. So he would feed into everybody. So like even the adults would have never, I think some of the adults, not my parents, but I think some of the adults might have rationalized even that thing. So because it wasn't outwardly, you know, touching him or the priest at that time, because it does get to that, but at that time, I think that even the parents might have like not told a higher up type thing, not wanting him to get in trouble, because I mean, he's a priest and you wouldn't want that, and he just doesn't know. He's a little awkward type thing, but he don't know any better, you know. I don't think this. I'm saying this is the thought process that was very much part of our reality back then. So I do think that it's important to note these things, and even someone like me that, you know, has gone to school for this and knows better, I just as much as everybody else was swayed into it at a very young age. I didn't know any better. It wasn't until I got older and I learned a lot of it, and my friend, you know, finally opened up to us. Then he gets a girl pregnant while we're still in high school. He tells us all, and then he goes through like the worst scrutiny because this priest denies it for years and finally admits it, but not until my friend already takes his own life. And the priest, when he gets taken back for his sentencing, literally finally looked at the parents, because the parents were there every single day and like for months or years actually. And he looked at the parents right before he walked in the door. And it's so weird because I remember from my friend's murder trial, like literally they walk out and the door's right there. Right before he walks out the door, he looked back at my friend's parents and he went, "I did your son, but he was 18, and then kept going. You guys, if his dad could have jumped any quicker, he would have done his own justice in that courtroom. I mean, it was bad. And his dad's a cop. His dad is a cop in New Jersey, and he was on duty the day that his son was found. And he was the cop. He was one of the cops that showed up, not knowing it was his son. How horrible is that? So this dad is like, has it, like he is just, you know, as he should be, right? I'd be furious as well, more than furious. I don't even know what the word is, but I'll have to do, if you guys want to hear more about that story, let me know in the comments, and I could put together a live and do that one day, just because there's so much. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that story. Again, it's about my friend and the abuse that he suffered from this Franciscan priest that literally was like our everything, including myself. Like my husband and I both wanted him to say our wedding, everything. Like, and it was like when we found everything out, we were like, wait, what? And you didn't want to believe it at first. Like it was like that. Picture somebody you trust, like something like them getting an allegation. And you're like, no, like there's no, but the person that's accusing them, you're like, no, they wouldn't lie. So it's like a real like weird feeling to be in. And then I was like, oh, of course I believe my friend. And it was hard to like think that this priest could do this, but I knew that he did. I know that he did, for sure. In my opinion, 100%. But he never, you had similar priest. Well, guess what, Birdie? I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't as much similar priests as much as the same priest, because a lot of these priests, I came to find out later, were just transferred to other parishes before justice could be, you know, sent down on them. So, you know, a parent might be looking for them and they're like, oh, you know, he's not even here anymore. He moved to a different state, with hopes that the parents then are just going to move on and that whatever happened wasn't that bad. And that happened a lot of the times. And these priests just moved to another parish somewhere else. It's just horrific. But you guys let me know. So most of you said yes, please let me know in the comments and I will be happy to do that. So let me get back to this real quick because we've been on here for a minute and I've literally been working since all day and I haven't had a break. So why alleged concealment matters psychologically, you guys. So concealment can show problem solving under panic or self-preservation. And think about that. Think about the day after David allegedly murders Celeste, how he's in his, do you guys remember the one I'm talking about, the video where he's holding up his he's holding up the CD that he's about to drop and he's like twerking, all happy? Like, wait, what? Like, if that's not concealment. And then he also had Celeste's handbag in that picture, if you guys took notice in that video. So, and her shoes. So, you know, anybody that was used to seeing them still saw them. It wasn't that, you know, he got rid of them yet. The whole thing is just messed up. And then the prosecutors allege elaborate post-offense conduct. So again, they think that he didn't dismember her until the 5th of May. Today, it's 12:38, you guys. It's May 5th. So, it's May 5th, 2026. So when did they think this happened? 1 year ago today? You guys, a year ago today, David, and like I said, now it's not midnight for all of you yet, but for me, it is. So I think about how it technically is the 5th right now. So, you know, what time did he do this? it probably wasn't at 9 a.m., right? I mean, I don't know that, but I'm just saying I don't imagine it being, during the daylight. It was probably, or maybe it was because of noise. I have no idea, to be honest with you. What do you guys think? But, I mean, it could have very much been literally 1 year ago, right now. How weird is that? I just got like chills. Ugh. I literally just got chills all over my body. That's horrible. So a behavioral lens would ask you guys, what did the person prioritize after the harm occurred? And he prioritized concealment, in my opinion. We just saw that picture. I mean, in that video that we just watched, we saw that that's where where her passport was eventually found. So that would be concealment, right? Trying to get rid of things, personal belongings of her to distance himself. That's a big one. And then in court, motive and state of mind must be proven with evidence, not vibes. So we can't just say he's creepy AF. There has to be evidence, right? So why people defend famous men. Parasocial attachment makes strangers feel personally known. So fandom can turn into a protective wall around the accused, which is a big one, right? So protecting them, if you guys think about it on the Discords, all those people in Discord were like yes-menning to him. They were like, oh yeah, of course, gore. Like, we watched, self-harm on Twitter. It's amazing. Like, what? So, and then cognitive dissonance. Let's go over what that is real quick. So that kicks in when beloved art conflicts with alleged harm. So cognitive dissonance, just in case anybody doesn't know, it's when you have two competing thoughts about the same thing at the same time. I guess the most common example I could give is smoking may lead to lung cancer, right? So that's cognitive dissonance. So if you smoke, you might be smoking your cigarette knowing or watching a commercial about how this could lead to this, that, and the other, or you see the commercial where the person's like this with that voice box and you're still taking a drag of your cigarette. That's cognitive dissonance. It's like, I know that this could lead to my early demise, but at the same time, I'm feeling anxiety or whatever it is. I'm having a craving. I just want it right now, so I'm not going to worry about it as much right now. So with cognitive dissonance, what we usually do is we try to alter one of the two competing thoughts to make it fit a narrative that we can deal with, because we have to live with it, right? So in that situation, what smoking may lead to cancer or whatever, you might change the one side about it may lead to cancer. Like, well, it doesn't say that it's definitely gonna. And it doesn't say that if you don't smoke, you can't get it. So it's like rationalizing the one side so that the other side feels better. So now it's like, okay, it's not that bad that I'm smoking right now. It doesn't mean you're definitely going to get it, or, so on and so forth. So that's what we see with cognitive dissonance. The hard truth here, though, is charm, talent, sadness, and relatability do not equal safety. And remember when we talked about with coercive control, safety and fear often they counterbalance each other in these types of relationships. So it's really important. There's some live discussion props in case we were talking, but I feel like we've talked for so long. But it was just things like, where's the line between artistic darkness and behavioral red flags? Where do we see this? I don't know if you guys remember, but David does an Itami anime event eventually, where we see him cut the character's arm off and get them. I don't know if you guys noticed, but that in that anime, the female gets stabbed in the stomach and then her arm gets taken off. Like, if that's not art imitating real life, right? Or real life imitating art. So how should creators discuss minors and alleged exploitation ethically? I think we do a good job of it here, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But I think we do a pretty good job of it here. So I think we try to make sure that we keep Celeste as center, and that everything's about getting justice for her. At the same time, we are a psychology channel. So we're going to be looking at the possible psychology of, or the minds behind, the perpetrator as well. You could also say, as somebody who studied systems types of psychology, like I have a specialization in marriage and family therapy, I often, like, I have a good way of looking at both psychologies. So there has to be a psychology in Celeste's life that allows the psychology of David to exist for her, if that makes sense. So not all of us would have been able to, even if we wanted to, go meet David when we were 12, right? So even if it was something we'd begged for, there was just no way. Even if he was willing to come pick us up, there was no way, type thing. So, we have to remember that she's the kid here and that he's the one that took advantage of her, right? And that she was failed, in my opinion, by many people around her. And this didn't just happen one time, which is why I say failed. Like, this happened over years, over 2 years. 2 years is a long time when you're 14 years old. Like, that's a big part of your life. So, and that's what we know of. So why do audiences sometimes center the accused instead of the victim? I just answered that because here specifically we look at the psychology behind the perpetrator, and I also try to look at the psychology behind the victim, because again, I think that there's a particular psychology that has to occur for Celeste or for David to even have access to Celeste. And again, to think that anybody could just stop this is crazy, because that's not what I'm saying. I don't think that just because parents say, give me your phone, I want to look at it, that we see everything. I don't think that at all. However, I do think that we need to give our kids as many tools as we can related to media literacy, so that if or when these things, probably when, not if, but when something like this does occur, that they don't see it for something that it's not. If she knew about the possibility of meeting an up-and-coming singer or actor or athlete, right, or something like that, had she have had tools to know, even to understand somebody that is trying to take advantage of you. So, being taught ahead of time that if somebody that's 18 and you're 12, if this person is trying to ask you out, I don't care if they thought you were 4 years older or if they're, immature for their age or whatever the excuses may be, that if somebody ever tries to say this to you, just know that they're considered a PDF file type thing, and then so on and so forth. That way, when you're teaching your kids this, when it does happen online or if it happens online, they at least have that prior knowledge to know that somebody told me to look out for this. And so now I'm seeing it, because I'm telling you, and I don't want to give any attention to it again, but had I been more aware before, I trusted a little, and we've all gone through this, but I'm just talking about recently, it might not have been as big of a whatever at first. It's not a big deal anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. And with anybody, with my friends, with my family, with anybody, you could say this, right? So that's also something we have to think about. And then what parents, educators, and platforms learn from online access patterns. That is my biggest thing here, is patterns. Whether we're talking about access patterns, behavior patterns, I'm always looking for patterns, parental patterns, all the things. I'm looking for patterns, and I think that is one of the main themes of this channel. Finally, you guys, I always put the references at the end. So we have Reuters, Associated Press, CBS Los Angeles, People. So the exact article was called Victim Family and Court Filing Reporting, and then RAIN and APA, which is the American Psychological Association, Informed Developmental Psychology Resources. There we go. Back to the beginning. So I will make sure that I put that up in Discord in case anybody wants access to it. And that's all I got for you guys. Is there any questions you guys have? No, you are the best, Linnell. Thank you so much for sticking through that whole thing. That was very impressive. If you guys have been here the whole time, thank you. You know, Casey, all of you, thank you so much for being here. True Crime was here. I mean, so many of you, Cuff You, Harlot, we're all here from the very beginning. I can't believe you lasted through any of these whole lives. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. Casey's here. Casey, I know your daughter's birthday's tomorrow, right? So you're going to have a busy day tomorrow. Not today, but tomorrow. I don't know what time it is for you. It's tomorrow already for me here. I meant the next day. I'm tired. All right, you guys, thank you to my mods. Thank you for everybody that was here. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, all of you. The picture. Oh my God, Cuff, you said, are you not going to look at that picture? That's all I wanted to do was see the picture. Hold on. No, I want to see it. Wait, where is it? Thank you. See? I'm just really tired, Cuff You. Where's the picture? Which one is it? Where can I find it at, Cuff You? I'm in the general, so it's not, I'm assuming it's in David. Hold on. I can't believe I would have been so annoyed if I hung up and forgot that. So thank you so much, because when I started Xing out of things, I would have seen it. I'm looking for it as I talk to you guys. I don't know why I get like overwhelmed with all these tabs. I feel like I always pass it. Wait, hold on, Celeste. I know that I always miss it because it's Celeste and not David. Here we go. I found it. All right, now I have to see. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for telling me. So is there a picture, or is it, is this the picture? Oh, shut up. Okay, you guys, so real quick. What? So John Marshall is the manager, right? Oh yeah, wait. Mogul Vision, John Marshall. Is that who's John Marshall? Is that the dad? Who's the John Marshall? I forget, but this is at the Fonda Theater. You guys, you want to know what's crazy? Something always crazy happens on my birthday, and the date here is my birthday, June 27th. So I'm not surprised that this was on June 27th. But hold on, so wait, let me look at this. So which one's Celeste? Is this Celeste right here? By the X? I haven't seen this one. Which one's Celeste? Or is this her with the hat? Which one's Celeste? You guys are a few seconds behind me, so. And then I have to look at the next one. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Oh my God. See? It's tiredness. I do apologize. Here's my screen. I'm like, why isn't anybody answering me? I just want to know. Oh, there you go. So, wait, let me make myself smaller so you guys can see it better. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry, you guys. I am exhausted. I've been working for 17 hours straight with no break. Okay, which one's Celeste? Is it the one with the black hat, or is it this one right here? Let's see. You know a ton of birthdays on June 27th? Oh, wow. That's cool. It's your sister and husband's anniversary. Go to the next one. So she wasn't in that one. So, okay, Celeste with the... Oh, here she is. Oh, wow. And it says Josh Marshall. Oh, okay. So the reason this picture over here is relevant, you guys, right here, take notice where he's sitting in the very next picture. They show over here in the left-hand corner, up in the very top left, that right there, if you can't see it, it says Josh Marshall, and it's pointing. So he's literally sitting right there, and this is Celeste, and this says Celeste with David's family. So he's at one end of the row, and then it looks like a whole row of family, and then she comes in, it looks like the second to the last in the row, and it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, there's like, it's a whole row here. But this whole row, Celeste back over here, it says Celeste black hoodie and pink leggings. Let me see. Well, I see her in that over here, right? So she has on a black hoodie and pink leggings over here. And then down here, it has, oh, okay, so up here where I said it's a whole row, if you come down here, the person blew it up. So over here, this is his mom taking a picture. Stop. Then that's his sister, then her, then the brother. What? Oh, I can, Harlot. I could see them. I see the mom right here. I don't know if it's just because I'm up close on my computer, if I have good eyes, I don't know. But she's wearing a blue and white shirt. She has her arms up. She has a white, like, tight shirt on underneath it. She has, like, a black and white camera. It's facing, like, diagonal. She's taking a video or a picture. And then the sister right here has on a bandana and her curly hair to the side with her pink hoodie. Then Celeste over here with the black hoodie. And you can see her there, and you see the same black hoodie that's in this picture over here. And I feel like over here to the left, you could definitely tell that that's her. So I feel like that's why it makes it easier for me to then see this picture and say, oh yeah, that's her. Now the brother, I can't see as well. I could see his hand, but I can't see the brother as well there. Oh, that is crazy, you guys. So there's the picture. Oh wait, and then over here, this is her too, with the hoodie. So she's literally like right up front there. Oh, well, they are right up front, duh. You could see it right there. Wow, you guys. That's crazy. So they're like up on the balcony, it looks like. And look, he's all happy. Mr. Josh. But look, all these people that are in this row had to have known. Right? Oh, look, right here. Oh, my God. I do see it now. Cuff you. Over here, you guys, in this first picture, it says Celeste, and then it says black hoodie. You can see the black hoodie. You can't really tell that it's her. However, this woman right here, she has a distinct hairstyle that I saw. Oh, it's right here. You can see it right there. And then you see her in the next one. Where I want to show you. No, that wasn't it. Anyway, we see that Celeste was in that one. So, I'm so tired, you guys. I have to, like, stop talking. I'm exhausted. But thank you, Cuffy, for reminding me. The London thing real quick. Oh, you can see the brother in the previous set. I don't know where the previous set is. But I believe that the brother was there, because don't we see him and Celeste? Are you talking about the one where the two of them are walking backstage or whatever? At one of his shows? If not, then that would be an additional time, because we see that time. But I believe that was it, right? Doesn't she have one, the outfit she's wearing today in that one? I've seen before, they were clearer. And that's absolutely his family, 1,000%. Absolutely. And TMZ has them. Gotcha. Wow, you guys. That's something else, ain't it? So now what's the excuse? And not for nothing, the mother, how old's his daughter? I mean, how old's his sister? Have I ever done a live on Jack the Ripper? I have not. That would be a good one. That's a good one. You have to remind me when I'm not so tired, so that I remember, because that's a good one. I don't know which video, but I already, I X'd out all of my thingies. My Discord, I would have to relog in, and I'm so tired. I'm going to go to sleep. But, you guys, thank you so much for coming. I don't even remember what I was going to say. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for everybody tonight that donated, and all the people that were here to support me, that have been here this whole time, that have liked and subscribed and all the things. Thank you, Cuff You. I do appreciate you. I appreciate my mods so very much that are always here, and for all of you that are part of the membership. I appreciate you. I think I'm going to do a members only live soon. I always feel bad doing them because I'll go to do a members only. So instead I make like a bunch of videos available to you guys that's not available to others. But I wind up stopping myself because I'll think of like 3 or 4 people that I would feel bad, because I'm like, it's not that our chat, like I don't have thousands of people in the chat, you know what I mean? Hopefully someday, but right now I don't. So I feel like the few other people, a wise woman, wow, thank you so much. That's such a pretty flower. That was so nice of you. You've been so freaking generous tonight. Thank you. I appreciate you big time. Thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate you. Wow. Thank you. So, Linnell, you see what I mean? So I would feel bad because there's a few people here, like a wise woman who's helping me out tonight, right? A wise woman, you probably spent way more. We should have had you just spend the $1.99 to get the membership so you could have been part of the membership. We'll figure it out. If I have to send you $2 back to be a member, I'll do whatever you need. But I want you guys, and Linnell, like I want to somehow get you guys all in the membership. So we'll figure it out. But that way I could do more members only lives where when we're done, it just stays with us type thing. And then that way people could tell me more about their stories and stuff like that. So, Casey, thank you so much. That was so very nice of you. You guys are so freaking generous. I appreciate you. If like you're feeling bad about whatever, don't feel bad. I don't judge. I don't thank you just for being here. Maybe hit the like in some of those hearts or something. That also does a lot. So I would appreciate that. And if you're really feeling sassy and you want to hype this in a few minutes when it uploads, well, that, my friends, is just as good as anything else. So I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the gifts tonight. I couldn't do this without you. You guys just made me motivated to get the next thing done. I don't know what the next one will be or when it'll be, but we are going to... Oh, wait, what is that? Harlot. Thank you, Harlot. That is so nice, you guys. I'm loving this jewels thing. That is so cool. I love it. So cool. You wish you could send memberships, but your phone won't do it, and it's all you have. Well, don't worry about it. No big deal. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. Thank you for saying that. That's very nice of you. Maybe you can, like, hype the video on your phone. All you just have to do, just if you don't know, is you would go to, where would you go? To where, Casey, thank you. Thank you, Casey. That is so very, very, very nice of you. Thank you. Casey says I'm done. But you would go to, what the hell was I just trying to say, you guys? I think I'm done. Oh, to hype it. You would go, after we're done, you would go to where the comment section is, and you click on that, like the chat, and then you just swipe over, and you'll see an option to hype. You get 3 hypes a week. It resets on Sundays, so today's your first day. So, you know, people don't use all 3 of them at once, I don't think, so don't do that, because then you're not going to have any more. But if you'd give me one of your hypes, I'd so appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys are great. No, I haven't found mine yet. They give us 1,000 jewels to buy gifts with. That's so exciting. Wow. And just so people know, if you, I don't want to get whatever, but if I have to send you the $2 to be a member, if I could just click on there and be like, make this person a member, I do it, but that's not how it works. If I gift a membership, which I'm going to do soon, it doesn't guarantee to go to somebody specific. So that's the only problem with that one. If I could say like everybody log off except for like 2 people, and then I give it, then that's what I would do, because people do deserve it. But you guys that do deserve it, and you know who you are, all of you deserve it, but you know who I'm talking about. Don't worry, because there's so many generous people here that one of these nights, I'm sure, whether it be from me or from somebody else, whether it be from me or somebody else, I'm sure that you will be able to get a membership, because you'd be surprised how many times I've gotten a membership from just being in somebody else's chat. So just so you guys know, by being in someone else's chat makes you even more likely to do it. So hold on, you guys. This is what we're going to do. Who was that? You sent 2 sparkles. Thank you, a wise woman. That is so nice of you. Thank you so much. So you guys, you know what I'm going to do real quick? Since you guys have been so generous tonight, oh, what the hell happened now? Something else just happened. Who was that? A wise woman? Thank you, a wise woman. Wow. That is so generous of you. So this is what I'm going to do real quick. I am going to send 5 memberships. I'm going to send... Oh, Casey sent a membership. Thank you, Casey. I'm going to send 5, but listen, Thor is freaking out. So for you guys, hold on real quick. Oh my God, who just did that? Oh my God, oh my God.
Amazing.
That was... This is amazing. Wow, thank you. All right, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Let me let Thor in, and then I'm going to get 5 memberships. Hang tight, 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. He was a little cray. Okay, am I still here? Let's see. So what just happened? What just happened? Oh my God, I just missed that 1 second ago. What the frig was that? Who was that? No. It was Mayor and Bella. Mayor and Bella has become a member? Shut up, Mayor and Bella. Thank you so much. Wow. You guys, make sure you hit like real quick. I only have 30 likes, so if you guys get it like, that would be great. I'm going to go over right now, and I'm going to get 5 memberships. Are you ready? Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's pray, a wise woman. Let's pray. All right, ready, set, go. All right, let's see. All right, I just gifted 5 memberships. So Philly girl.
This is amazing.
Oh,
This
a wise woman's the very next one.
This is amazing.
Oh my gosh, a wise woman. Philly girl 5 got it. Golden 2325 got it. M to the J dog got it. Amy Brennan Larson got one. And Cheapskate. Oh, that's cute. Cheapskate. That's cute. Got one. So welcome you guys to the Minds Behind True Crime with Dr. Vona, where we put the fun in dysfunctional. A wise woman. How can we have to get you a membership? How is that possible? I feel like it should go, to all of the peoples. I wish I could give them to all of the peoples, but I feel bad that you didn't just get one. We'll figure it out, a wise woman. If I have to, I will send you the $1.99 via Venmo. And then you could just buy one. All right, we'll figure it out though, okay? Because I want everybody to be a part of this. And then that way I don't feel bad it says, and they used to only give them to people that were in chat, but now it gives them to anybody who subscribed. You're right. And guess what, Case? I don't think a lot of people know that. So sometimes people will... like a creator will be like, oh, this person's like stalking, watching type thing, and they're here and they're below. And I'm like, no, it doesn't do that anymore. It's not just the people that are watching. Like, I literally could be doing homework and not have YouTube on, and it'll be like, you just received a membership from da da da, and I'm like, oh shit, like that's great, you know what I mean? But I don't know, it's crazy, right? But just know, you guys, that I want to do members only live streams. I just always feel bad. doing that. Oh, also know that it says here, just so you know, I don't know if you guys could see this. I don't think you can. Oh, something else just happened. What just happened? I think someone just subscribed or something. Thank you so much if whoever just subscribed. I do appreciate you. No, I don't have it up here, but I don't even know if you guys could see it. I'll show you real quick, and if you could see it, you could see it. If not, no big deal. But, oh yeah, it does show you. So over here, whenever I click on the membership thing, so if you go by the where the chat is, if you go where the $sign is, if you click on that, it'll bring you to this. And if you see here, Curious Mind $1.99 or Pattern Seeker $2.99, there's not really much of a difference. It's more just an option if people wanted to give more or whatever. But whatever. Anyway, that's not my point. My point is, it says 100% off your first month membership. Promo applied. So I would say even a wise woman, or any of you that are listening, Linnell, you should go on and take advantage of at least that 1 month of membership. You know what I mean? And then who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I did want to tell you guys that. So the first month is free. Also, yes, you have to make sure that you have on. That's another thing. Harlot, good point. You guys, a wise woman. Oh, it's on. Okay, so she does know about it. You received 2 memberships from the same place, but it was like 6 months apart. Exactly, Ella. That's why I always have mine on, because you just never know when you're going to get one. Thor, no way, dude. Thor's like, pay attention to me right now. Thor, come here. Why are you doing that? There's nobody there. Who are you barking at? You guys, he's not even looking at me. His ears are up, so I know he can hear me. Obviously, he can hear me. He's right here. But he's like, he won't look at me now. Thor, buddy. Oh, there you go. Come here, buddy. Come here. People want to say hi to you. Come here. Come say hi. You just want attention. Come here, Thor. You want to come say hi? No? You want to come over? Come on. Oh, you guys, I think he's going to come say hi. Come here, Thor. They want to say hi to you. Come here, buddy. No? You don't want to come up? You don't have to come up. I don't know, you guys. He was just coming up, and now he's going to bark. Oh, because Allie's there. Allie, move over. Allie, can you move over? Oh, no. Allie looks. Allie. 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 Oh, my God, you guys. Allie, girl. Allie, girl. Oh, a wise woman, thank you. Oh, look, the party hat goes on my head. Yes, Queen. You guys, Allie's like not responsive. Hold on. Allie. Hi, girlfriend. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were up. Okay, she's responsive. We're good. Oh, that just scared the shit out of me. Thor, come this way, buddy. Come on. Oh, there you go. All right, Thor got out, so now he's better. Thor is so OCD. He literally just jumped down and could have came right over here to come up to say hi, but instead he goes all the way around. Come here, Thor. Come say hi to the peoples. Say hello. Come here. Look how cute you are, Thor boy. Look, his head's just as big as mine. Don't we look like? Thor boy. You want to go to bed, don't you? You're tired. You guys, I got him to go back upstairs. You guys remember? I got him to go upstairs now, thank God. I put whipped cream, like little things of whipped cream, and for the first couple days, he would stop. He would have his front paws on the steps, but his back paws still on like the floor down here. So I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, he has half of his paws up. So as far as he could go with his nose and his tongue to like get the whipped cream, but he wouldn't go any further. And then finally, we were all upstairs laughing, and he just like ran up, and we all like started cheering, and then he wouldn't come down, so my husband had to carry him down. So imagine carrying Thor down the steps. But then eventually, after the 20 time, my husband was like, okay, we can't be doing this anymore. So then we had to put his harness on him to get him to and shut all the doors in the hallway upstairs so that he would come down. And then he just started going up and down. He was like, F it. So now he's back to normal. Look at his bow tie. Isn't he so handsome? You're so handsome, Turboy. I got you. You're a good boy. All right, you guys. I need to go to bed, and so does Thor. He's tired. He likes my nails. Turboy's tired. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thor wants my attention right now. Thor. Turboy. Turboy. Hold on. He literally wants my attention. You have a Yorkie? I used to have a Yorkie. He was a demon too. All right, you guys. I love you. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. I'm going to bed, and so is Thor. Mwah. Thank you so much to my mods and everybody else. Good night, y'all. Thor boy.